welcome back to our latest and greatest visual novel, Chaos Child. Been a while since been a few days since we played, so I don't quite remember what's happening. So we're just gonna read in and see what's going on. As I recall, our video was viral, and we were looking forward to that interview with the news reporter. Finally getting our big break, where a famous internet reporter is gonna not trash us. And then they gave us the internet reporter's perspective, and he was introduced in the classic villain style. Now I remember what happened. We were like, our main character is really hyped to be getting an interview with a big internet reporter, and the guy's from his perspective, the guy's like, I'm gonna be the biggest fucking star when I get this scoop. Fuck this little guy. Like, he got the classic villain introduction where you're like, oh, this guy's gonna be an antagonist, isn't he? Like, I don't know if he's like the real villain of the story. He's probably just a dick, but the way he was introduced, my first thought was like, oh, yeah, this is a bad dude. Like, not like a sketchy guy, but like the kind of guy that's like just going to be opposed to your viewpoint character, whoever they are, and also a bit of a dick. All right, Hiroka Toshida was working at her part-time job as a grocery store cash register. As a register, that's very difficult. You know, most people work at a grocery store cash register. They don't actually work as a grocery store cash register, as holding all that money is fairly uncommon. Did they just like shove it in her mouth or into pouches on her vest? It says as a register, not at a register. A cashier, yeah, being a cashier is tough, but what about being the cash register itself? That seems like a very awkward job. I mean, I can sympathize with both of them. Alright. That one's just unusual. Yeah, standing around is a lot of work, especially when you have to like interact with people and they're sometimes a dick or impatient. A customer with only coins? You're gonna have to eat the coins? I hope not. Her husband was always out working late, but he didn't actually make any money. His airheaded personality meant he was perennially stuck in lower management. He's stuck in lower management, so he's like the manager of like a McDonald's, okay. And you are working a cash register. You're both pretty low income, let's be honest. His job isn't making much, and neither is yours. Her son was in college and spent all his time playing. She was spending a lot of money to send him there, but he'd grown into a selfish boy who constantly demanded cars and trips. I mean, is it that hard to say no? It's kind of unfortunate that her kid grew up to be like a selfish dick, though. Like, your parents are both working full-time at like really low-income jobs, trying to support your life, and you're demanding more? That's kind of rude. Maybe being a cash register means you play the job of the calculator, you do the math for the cashier? I see. So maybe you don't actually hold all the money, okay. Of course, their budget was always stretched to the limit, and he's acting for trips and cars. I mean, I'll be honest, I wouldn't ask for a car if my parents were that broke. I was like, my parents did give me a vehicle. But that was their vehicle that they were selling. Like, they were actually getting rid of it, and they're like, hey, you don't live with us anymore. Do you want this car? Because otherwise we're getting rid of it. And I ended up selling it like 2 years. I think I ended up trading it in for another car. It was like, for like $500. It was like $500 value at like the dealer. So it wasn't exactly worth a lot, but saving a few $100s or getting like a really cheap car does help. Does help when you're first moving out and trying to do things on your own. Although, to my knowledge, Japan's really, really good transit means you don't actually need a car most of the time unless you're doing a lot of traveling. But this kid seems like, when he says he wants to travel all the time, maybe the car is really valuable to him. Either way, go with a cheap used car. I mean, as long as it's in working condition, you're probably okay. A few $100. Not the biggest deal. They hadn't built up any kind of savings. Oof, this is not sounding like a... They'd lived in Shibuya, true, but she had to live with her in-laws, which didn't make things easy at all. Oh man, this sounds rough. So, you're living with your in-laws, both you and your husband are working, you got a selfish kid. Money will be consumed as a drink like milk. The idea of going to lunch with her friends from the neighborhood seemed as remote as the fictions she saw paraded on news every night. Oh man, this is quite rough. I actually have a few friends who had like a lot of money trouble. I have a few friends who've had some serious money troubles, although usually I think that's due to like bad budgeting, because they will just go out with people and spend money most of the time. Although I guess there were a couple moments where they actually said no. I kind of ended up just covering for them because I'm not a dick. I'm like, oh, here you go, I'll pay for it, I don't care. I can afford to buy someone a meal if we're out instead of them just drinking water while I'm eating or something awkward like that. Like, what's more awkward? What's more awkward? Someone buying a meal for you, or like you awkwardly eating McDonald's while they're like, I'll just have water, thank you. Or you just like going home and not doing anything because you're like, I don't know what to do. Like it's easier just to cover for them and write off the money. Like, okay, it was an expensive meal. Instead of going to a sit-down restaurant and spending $40 on a steak, I spent $40 and I got to eat with a friend. Like, that seems okay. As long as you're not eating at like really expensive places and they're not ordering like 10 beers, it's probably okay. Like, if your friend's costing you like $80 for a meal, and maybe they're being a little bit greedy. Which water did it easier? Delicious water. Lately, she'd been all sighs. Yesterday, she'd actually sighed at work and gotten a warning from her boss. Oh no, she sighed. Yeah, I don't think that would fly at a software development job. Just sighing is a perfectly reasonable thing to do when you're doing software development. Better than raging, at least. Anyway. A warning for sighing. I guess she wasn't being polite enough to the customers. The store where she'd worked was along Meiji Road, about a 5-minute walk from Shibuya. The lunchtime rush had ended and things were calming down. She wanted to take a little break, but it wasn't break time yet.
合計で3127円になります。
Alright, 3,100 yen. That's not too bad. Fairly cheap for groceries. The woman in front of her, who was taking out her wallet, was one she'd seen several times before. She wore fancy clothes, had a slender, attractive body. Her makeup was perfect too. Even when she was only going shopping at a supermarket. She must live in a completely different world. Maybe she was what they called the celebrity wife. The woman seemed very anxious as she waited for her to finish. Nishida hadn't even handed her her change yet, and she'd already lifted up her shopping basket. What was bothering her so much? Is this our detective lady? Was she feeling sick? She did seem a little pale. Nishida wondered about her, but they didn't have enough of a relationship that she felt comfortable asking. She handed her the receipt and her change, and the woman quickly left. Okay. Nishida greeted the next customer, who we actually have an image of, alright. And then she guessed. It was a man. Oh shit, he's wearing a sumo mask. Or like the sumo wrestler face masks. Although they're not necessarily sumo wrestlers. I think we've already covered that, so I think most of you guys just know, oh, it's those faces. Okay. And he was wearing a mask. The mask had the same design as those things they called sumo stickers, see? She'd heard about the stickers on the news several days ago. She'd learned that lately they were popular in Shibuya and nowhere else. Okay, I don't know why, but these red and white boxes are making me think of like cigarettes. I swear. Isn't that like, that looks very close to like the packaging for cigarettes, right? They have like blue or red or white, or blue or red stripes along the top. Blue or red like stripes along the top. The box with are obviously way too long. Yeah, it's the Marlboro ripoffs, right? They look like a massive case of Marlboros. Marlboros? Anyway. They have a lot of knockoff brands here, so I'm like, okay, what is this one? It looks very familiar. Alright. She heard about the stickers on the news several days ago, and she'd learned lately... Okay, I already read that. What am I doing? She'd already seen them several times on her way to and from work. It was a disgusting design, and the idea of Shibuya being overrun with the things made her sick. Disgusting. These masks. These stickers. And this man was wearing a mask with the same design. It's very unusual to wear a mask in a... It's very unusual to wear a mask in a grocery store. Also, like, very sketchy, right? You know, I've actually seen videos of, like, people in Walmarts demanding that like, people wearing motorcycle helmets take their helmets off. So, I'm a little bit surprised that this person's just running around wearing, like, an actual mask for no reason. It's, like, October 10th, right? So it's not even, like, Halloween. Like, if it was Halloween, you could kind of see it because it's a special occasion, but... a bit weird. His clothes were completely normal. They weren't particularly filthy, and he didn't look like a pervert or a crazy man. But that made it even stranger why he'd be wearing a mask to hide his face, and one so poorly constructed it was obviously handmade. I mean, he could be hiding his face from the police, so it could scream danger. Could be COVID. The woman's not wearing a mask though. How does she still have a job? There's no barrier protecting her from the customer. And there's no mask on her face. Was this why the last customer seemed so anxious? Oh yeah, I suppose they could be working near a convention. But I imagine she would have thought, oh, it must be the convention, right? Like, usually, this person's been working here for a while, presumably. I think she's been working here a while. So, wouldn't she know? And she's lived in Shibuya for the last several years, raising a family. So, she would probably know if there was a major event that caused people to wear masks, right? Like sometimes there's weird events you don't know about that are new, but I don't know about this one. Was that why the last customer had seemed so anxious? So now she's thinking the last customer was anxious because of this creepy mask guy. The man was standing completely still. He didn't say anything to Toshida. And then she realized she'd been staring at his face for quite a long time.
すみません。いらっしゃいませ。
I'm sorry. Welcome. Okay. She looked inside his shopping basket. It was filled with several bowls of instant ramen and a single 2-liter.
4378円になります。
That was really fast. Usually it takes them a few minutes to do that. Alright, she gave... that'll be 4,378 yen. As she gave him the total, she happened to see the customers in the other lanes. This time, she was struck completely silent. It wasn't just her register. Every single register had a customer wearing a mask. What? Is it like... Okay, it's gotta be a convention or a cult. There's like a mask cult here now. Now that's creepy. Like, imagine like this is... So like 20 people, like you show up to work and literally every single person is wearing these anonymous masks, all of which are identical. There were so many of them. And they were all standing silently. I haven't seen Paprika. Okay. Reminds me of that. Right. There were already 10 people lined up at a register, and all of them were wearing similar... 10 people! Holy fuck! How long were you standing there? V for Vendetta. Yeah, this is also... I mean, this does remind me a little bit of V for Vendetta, but see, in V for Vendetta, they all showed up for an event, right? All the people wearing masks showed up for the 5th of November... you know, the destruction of Parliament, right? They weren't just randomly wearing them in a fucking grocery store. Yeah, just scan and go, man. Like at this point, the more you stare, the more awkward it becomes for everyone. If they're normal people, they're awkward. If they're creepy people secretly buying explosives to destroy Parliament, you don't want to be involved because there's 20 of them and one of you, and nobody here is armed. Yeah, it might be an event. You don't know yet. Although everyone wearing the same mask is really weird, considering they're not wearing, like, cosplay. Like, a bunch of anonymous people screams possible criminals, right? Like, if you see 20 people wearing this same creepy mask walk in to your place of work, you know they're probably up to something sketchy, right? Like, they don't want their face to be seen. Because this isn't, like, an event. This is, like, I don't want my face being seen here, right? Like, 1 or 2 people wearing similar masks is, like, skippable. But, like, 10 people in the same mask, or, like, 50 people in the same mask is really sketchy. 20 medjeds? I'd still be sketched out by 20 medjeds unless there was someone else in full cosplay. And again, medjeds are also a full cosplay. None of these guys are wearing cosplay. They're wearing a mask, right? There's like a clear distinction. If you see 20 people wearing similar cosplays, you're like, okay, it's a cosplay event. If you see people, because like, like what's a good example? Like, when Homestuck got really big, fucking like everybody is doing like all the classic trolls, and there's a few people doing OC trolls. So you see like 1 million people with horns, really bad gray skin paint, face paint stuff, and like generic tees, right? Because that's what the trolls in Homestuck wear. And but at least like there, you have variation. The shirts are of different icons, slightly different horns. People's faces are still technically showing, but they're clearly like intentionally cosplaying something, or like in a similar uniform. Whereas this is like, I don't want my face being seen while I go buy whatever I'm buying, which is really sketchy, right? Like, why not just take the helmet off? Like, it can't be comfortable wearing these masks, right? Like, if you've worn a mask like this, I mean, even just like a regular face mask, it's not exactly the most comfortable thing to wear. Like, sure, it's for health and safety, but you're not, like, putting them on because you're comfortable for the most part. Alright, so all the people at a register are wearing sumo sticker masks. The store never got this busy, even at lunchtime on a Saturday. The only thing the people in the masks had in common was that they were men. They all wore different clothes. A tall man in a sweatshirt. A fat, middle-aged man in running clothes. A well-built man in a sweater, and so on, so on. Not all of them looked like they had steady jobs, but not all of them looked like they were unemployed. It's definitely a cult, right? This seems more cultish. I'm guessing simply because they're wearing these weird sumo masks that it's more of a cult than a crime thing. But that's only because we've seen weird sumo sticker fanatics. At least one of them, right? That was the one who stabbed Cruz. Now, not one of them said a word. They just stood there in a line, masks on their head and baskets in their hands. Just check them out and move on. I don't know why you should be, like, so slow at this. You do not want to be involved with these guys. The noisy supermarket suddenly fell silent. All the other employees and customers stared at the men in masks, eyes wide. On your way to the student council room, you remembered you'd been planning on getting a mountain view and headed back to the vending machines. So we have no clue what happened to that lady. We just saw like 20 people in masks. Alright. We're back to our protagonist's viewpoint. Only caffeine and carbonation, combined to the mightiest of drinks, could slake my thirst. I found you. Alright, Sarika. Just as I was about to put my coin in the slot, I heard a voice I recognized.
Onoe? お前、手が足りないクラスの手伝いをしてるんじゃないのか?
Onoe, were you helping one of the classes that didn't have enough people?
そう、それお願いだから助けて。
That's right, yeah. Come help me. Right. You grabbed my hand and yanked me forward.
ちょっと待ってくれ。
Wait, what's going on?
さっきからあちこち動きっぱなしで。
Wait, I just moved a bunch of stuff.
それどころじゃないんだってば。
I'm too busy to listen to that right now. You're the only one I can count on. Oh boy, here we go.
見つけた。
I found you. Oh no. I heard the exact same phrase I'd heard a moment ago.
先輩方、チャオっす。やあやあ、今日もお二人仲が良さそうで何よりです。
Hey there, guys. Why is Hine talking to us? Arimura is a very sketchy person. Why is she chasing us? Hey there, guys. Glad to see you two are getting along as well as ever.
Huh?
What? What? You literally, the last time you spoke to us, you literally walked up to us, issued a death threat, and fucking left. What?
Arimura-san.
Arimura? Yeah, I'm just as confused. Why is she looking for us?
あなた、殺されますよ。宮代拓先輩。
This is literally all she said to us last time. Okay. I remember the words she'd said before. It was definitely Arimura who was in front of me now. The one at the murder scene. The one who'd been talking to a detective about the case. We did stalk her a little bit, to be fair. We did stalk her a little bit after she said those words to us. Not before, because we're not that creepy. I could feel myself start to sweat. I'd be sweating too.
有村さん、なんで
Arimura, why? At least he asked the question. Damn.
後輩なんだから呼び捨てでいいって言ってるじゃないですか。ねえ、リカ。
By the way, this entire personality she has is a complete act. If in case you guys forgot or missed the previous parts, she is not actually like this upbeat high schooler girl. She's actually like super surreal and hates putting on this mask. So we know she's lying whenever she's acting. We know she's like putting on a facade if she's putting on this like super cheery high school girl act. Anyway, I told you you don't need to be so self-conscious around me, right, Rika? She screams sketchy. Rika?
名前セリカでしょ？やだ？じゃあセリでファイナルアンサー？
Your name's Sarika, right? You don't like it? Is Sari your final answer then? Is she trying to dig up information for the police or some shit? What?
ファイナルなのか、
Is it
アンサーなのか。
Or is it your answer? What?
アンサー。
It's my answer.
ついでに私のことはヒナでいっから。はい、声に出して言ってみよう。せーの。
Alright, good. You can call me Hina. Let's all say it aloud. 1, 2.
ひな？ダメ。たどたどしいぞ。もう一回。
Not good enough. Too slow. One more time.
ひな。
So she is trying to endear herself to our protagonist and our like sort of girlfriend here. She has to have a motivation here, right? That wasn't a plan she announced. She must be trying to get information from us. I'm guessing she's trying to get information from us.
まだちょっち硬いけど、いいとすっか。
Right?
じゃよろしくね、
So
セリ。
that's why she's like forcing this weird nickname stuff on us and having us call her by her first name instead of her last name, right? She's trying to endear herself to us, get in our graces, and maybe get some information like what we're thinking, what we're doing. Still a little stiff. Still a little stiff, but it'll work. Okay, thanks, Sari. Yeah. I don't know. Is Takuru gonna fall for this? Yeah, what the fuck was she doing? This wasn't the same Aramura who told me I was gonna be killed. This is how she was when she talked to her classmates. Yeah. It's only made me wonder. Was she planning something? Obviously. What was she doing in the Love Hotel that day?
お、どうしたんですか、宮代先輩。視線が熱いですよ。
Oh, what's wrong, Miyashiro? There's so much passion in your gaze. No, there isn't. We haven't fantasized
yeah.
anything in at least 5 minutes. Oh, no.
もしや、
Have you
私に惚れちゃいましたか？
fallen in love with me? What?
多分
What?
そうなの？
Talking? Have you? No, Sarika, why are you falling for this? It's the most obvious line.
違う、そうじゃ。
No.
もうそんな否定しなくても素直になっちゃいなよ、You
don't have to deny it, just be honest. Just be honest.
でも言っときますけど、私に惚れると怪我するぜよ。
Just so you know, if you fall in love with me, you'll get hurt. It was no good. I couldn't keep up with her energy.
というわけでセリ、
She's going for like an all-out
解決
assault
ね。
here. If this was exalted, this would definitely be social combat, and they just both got fucking rolled by someone who actually has social skills, social feats. Get wrecked. Anyway, Sari, I'm pouring me a sheer. They would just be getting wrecked, but no one's been convinced, so it's not technically combat. This is the start of the scene, right? Alas, nobody reads the rules for social combat. Who needs to use their persuasion skills? Who needs to use persuasion skills when you can just say you want things done? Before I could say anything, Arimura wrapped her arm around mine and pulled me away.
あれ、ヒナ？
Hina. What? Sarika,
ア
what?
ディオス
No!
グラッシャー、セリ。また来年。
Adios, gracias, City. See you next year. I don't know why, but Sari actually fits with like the Spanish or the Spanish she's spitting out here. It fits really well, weirdly enough. Adios, gracias, Sari. I wonder if that's how they got to this scene. Like they wrote the dialogue and they're like, okay, she's gonna come up She's gonna leave and she's gonna be like, adios, gracias, Seri, let's go. And then they kind of just wrote backwards from there. Like, it makes, like, sometimes when you see a scene written, you're like, how did they start here? I think that's how they started. They started with the ending there, and I feel like they worked their way towards it. And this is definitely like a bit of a filler scene, right? They're like, how do we get these two characters interacting again? Okay, she's just gonna fucking try to steal some information from them. What is it?
話してもらえませんか?
Can you let me go? Yeah, I... sorry. I didn't think... She bopped herself on the head and let go of my arm. You're abandoning Sarika? And then she led me further down the hall, humming as she went. Wait, what? What was she doing? It felt like she was up to something. She must have noticed I wasn't moving, because suddenly she turned around.
やだな、そんなあからさまに用心しないでくださいよ。ひなちゃん悲しい。
Come on, don't get scared. It makes me sad. She pretended to cry.
一体どこまでが本気なんだ?
How serious is she? I can't fucking tell. Just don't go anywhere with her.
ここです、ここです。
Here, right here. Come.
入って。
No. Can I say no? She pointed to an empty classroom. What was she planning on doing here?
でも
大丈夫ですって。取って食ったりなんかしませんから。
So she's doing all the cutesy stuff to get you in there, then she's gonna turn super serial and try to like pump you for info. Okay. Not in whatever weird ways you're thinking, but you know. Anyway, it's okay. I'm not planning on eating you or anything. Alright.
いやちょっと
No, but into the empty classroom we go. Damn it. In the end, I gave in and went into the classroom.
さてと。
Now then.
先輩にここに来てもらった理由、わかりますか?
Do you know why I brought you here? Respond with no. Oh boy, here we go. How thirsty are we? We're thirsty.
いえ
No, I don't know why. Of course not.
心当たりないです?
No idea. We'll do positive. We'll do positive. It's the positive ones seem funnier. Negative is just gonna be us getting stabbed to death by her, which is kind of boring. So I'm thinking positive. That was the only thing I could think of. But seeing the way she acted today, it was hard to believe that it was the same girl.
どっちの姿が本当の彼女
Which is
だ
the
った
real? Maybe. If what I was imagining was the real her, then the reason she brought me here must be... Trigger on, boys.
宮代先輩っていい声してますよね。
You've got such a great voice, Miyashiro.
そうですか
Do I? No one had ever told me that before.
実は私、昔から声フェチなんですよ。
I've actually got a voice fetish. Oh boy, here we go. She's into ASMR. That was really none of my business.
宮代先輩の声って十分不女子の干渉に耐えられるクオリティだと思うんです。
Your voice's quality definitely lives up to my standards. Quality?
そうかな
Does.
マニアックな私が言うんですから、そうですって。
It does. I'm really into this stuff. I would know.
というわけで先輩、今からここで
I want you to read
私
something
のためだ
just
け
for
に
me.
朗読してください。
She's crazy, but I guess this is fairly tame as far as things go, right?
朗読ですか
Read something?
文芸部の活動の一環でもあるんですけど、宮代先輩にぜひとも。
Yes, it's part of the literature club's activities, and you're the perfect guy for it. It was hard to say no after all those compliments.
その何を読めばいいんですか
What do you want me to read?
ですね。
Well, it's...
それは。
Oh boy, here we go. Blushing, she took out a notebook. Is she gonna have some really lewd stuff written down?
じゃじゃーん。
Ta-da.
これを。
this? Oh boy, here we go. Let's see. What is she offering us? It looked like a normal student's notebook. There was nothing on the cover. I flipped it open. Bad fan fiction? Erotica? What are we reading? I was only on the first page and already I was looking at a whole different world. Here we go. Two pretty boys drawn in the style of a girl's manga were holding each other mostly naked. It was drawn in pencil and the illustration wasn't that great. There was even a dialogue bubble. Pierce me with your Excalibur. Oh boy, here we go. We're reading yaoi. This is... I don't understand. Did Arimura draw this?
これ私が文芸部で本を作る時用のネタ帳なんですけどね。やっぱ実際に男子に声に出してもらった方がイメージ湧くでしょ?
This is my idea book for when we write stuff in the lit club. But having a real boy say these things aloud would make it easier for me to visualize, you know? Who's being thirsty in this one? He is thinking of it, but... Damn.
そんなの僕には
I can't.
おねがいお願いします
Please, please.
無理です
I can't.
どうしてもダメですか? 私こんなこと他に頼める男子がいなくて
Yeah, remember these are his fantasies, so the amount of buildup is not necessarily like correlated to how it would be in real life, because he kind of just snaps into a fantasy and starts imagining shit. So even though this is like really fast for a please read erotica to me moment, it's kind of like his moment in his head. Are you sure there's no one else I can ask?
女子の友達は多いんですけどね
I have a lot of girlfriends,
ちょっ
but
と苦手だった
I
りしちゃっ
don't
た
really
り
do too well around guys. See, it's definitely his fantasy here with this line.
でも先輩が嫌なら無理強いはできないですよね
I can't force you, can I?
有村さん
Arimura. See, Arimura is like being completely out of character, even for her pushy high school girl self, right? If she was really relying on me, I couldn't turn her down. I guess I have no choice.
わかりました
All right.
少しだけなら
Just a little. Just the first few pages.
本当ですかありがとうございます
Thank you. She smiled happily. Now that I actually had talked to her, I realized she was a strange person, but not a bad one.
で
This
ど
is
こを
quite
見
the
れ
awkward fantasy. However, I suppose it's better than like... I suppose it's better than him being like ultra horny and just being like, I imagine fucking this person, and I do that every time I see them. You know, that would be kind of like awkward to read in a visual novel, and you'd probably get really bored of it. So the fact that he's like going off on like unusual fantasies, even if they're like relatively tame, is kind of interesting. It's kind of like keeps you interested in what he's going to imagine next. Which is why I stopped doing the negative ones, because like we got stabbed to death by this chick twice before I was like, fuck it, we'll do a positive one. So what part do I read?
最初からおなしゃす
Start from the beginning, please. Okay, beginning it
最初から
from the beginning. She wanted me to read this aloud
感情たっぷりにおなしゃす
with as much emotion as you can muster,
エロい感じでおなしゃす
as dirty as you can make it. Could I do that? I took a deep breath to calm myself down. Arimura was looking at me with stars in her eyes. It was embarrassing. I couldn't tell her to look away. I guess I'd just have to do it.
そのまま僕に突き刺して君のエクスカリバ
Pierce me with your Excalibur. I like the background visuals. They changed to the sumo faces who are like sweating and making weird faces. We have bananas all over the place. The male symbol, hearts. It's like a pink and purple background. Armor's face went bright red, and she started to pant, snort, and bang her head. Wait. It's definitely not something you see people do to themselves. Okay, it wasn't anything weird. I was like, is that a... This was tougher than I thought. Mentally, I didn't know if I could do it. I wanted to get away as soon as possible.
もういいよね。
That's enough, right?
あー、ちょっと待って。
The next page.
次のページもお願い
Can
で
you
き
read
ま
the
せん
next
か？
page? The next page. I flipped the page. There was a similar picture in dialogue bubble.
ささ。
Come on, come on.
お前のアイスキャンディー、俺の中でとろけさせてくれよ。
Melt your ice pop inside of me. Oh, I'm sure he had to say this as seriously as possible too.
Yes!
Yes! Yes, what?
次、お願いします。
Next, please. Next. I give up. Wait, in his fantasy he gave...
やめろよ、
Okay.
この鬼畜巨根野郎。
Stop it, you big-dicked freak. It's supposed to be a younger person. Armor had a look of ecstasy on her face. Her eyes looked like she was on drugs.
先輩、最高です。最高にエロいっす。
You're the sexiest.
私、もう。
I can't. And then her whole body started to spasm. A bit of drool was dripping out of the side of her mouth, but she didn't try to wipe it up.
こんな興奮したの初めてです。
I've never been so excited.
先輩、これから定期的に朗読会やってもらえませんか？
Can you do readings for me once in a while from now on?
次は攻めの方のバージョンも聞いてみたいんです。
Next time I want to hear something even smuttier.
それと今度は
Oh boy.
文芸部の同じ趣味を持つ人たちも連れてきます。
I'll bring some friends from the literature club who are into the same thing.
大丈
Don't
夫。
worry.
みんな女子っすから。
They're all
きっとみん
girls.
な先輩の声にメロメロになりますから。
I'm sure they'll fall in love with your voice.
いいでしょ？
It's
いい
okay,
です
right?
よね。
Right? And that was how my career as a voice actor in gay porn for girls began. Wait, isn't that what Sea Dog did? I'm pretty sure Sea Dog VA did this, right? Didn't he voice act in like a yaoi audiobook? And write one? I'm pretty sure he did that, right? Pretty sure he did that. It wasn't how his career started, but he was a thing he did. If that happened, I'd kill myself. Wait, why are you fantasizing this? How is it a positive delusion? If that happened, I'd kill myself. How is that positive? But if that was her only secret, that'd be fine. Well, maybe not fine. But it felt like the real Armor was hiding something more dangerous. That's probably why she brought me here. Ah, it's unfortunate. I like it when his delusions. I like it when he's like, when he like says something related to his delusions, and that's how he gets snapped out of it. Like he'd be like, "No, I guess I can read a few more lines to you, Armor." And she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Those are kind of funny. In other words,
事件のことですか?
Is this about what happened? We're back into the real world. It also happened. Oh yeah, it also happened in Yakuza Kiwami too, right? Kiryu did some voice acting for a yaoi game. Yeah, it's always a good joke. Armor's expression turned serious. I gulped repeatedly, feeling a little overwhelmed.
その僕も聞きたかったんですけど。
Wanted to ask too about that case.
何のことですか?
What are you talking about? Armor suddenly smiled. She was smiling, but her voice made it clear she was refusing to answer my question. I would have liked it more if she'd been frowning. I opened my mouth as if being pushed forward by some indescribable fear. Again, he's already like... she's smiling at him and he's like feeling pushed forward by fear.
今さらとぼけたって無駄だと思います。そのあの現場に君がいたことは確かなんですから。
I don't think you could talk your way out of it. Now, I know that you were there.
君はどうしてあそこにいたんですか?
Were you doing there? It's like pulling teeth for him, but that's one of his issues, right? He has troubles talking to people, so I can understand why it's like awkwardly, why he's like super nervous. That and this is like I guess sort of an awkward question to ask someone. She was looking at me, but I couldn't read any kind of emotion in her eyes. Wow, she went from smiling to like completely dead. I almost stepped back, but I stopped myself. You kind of sound like a detective, you know? Well, I mean, we are a news reporter. And now she goes back to her casual tone of voice. Damn, what the hell's up with this girl? Yeah, she's like Junko, bouncing around from emotion to emotion. He was an old friend, and sometimes we'd meet and talk like that is all. Yes, I too meet all my friends at love hotels and brothels. That was what she said before when she was meeting with a detective named Shinjo at Cafe LAX. We didn't have the kind of relationship you're thinking about. Sorry to disappoint. What is with the spacing between the period and those quotation marks? That's like that's a huge amount of spacing.
Huh? 残念.
Sorry?
とぼけますか？あんなところで落ち合ってたんだから、エッチな想像してたんでしょ？もう男子ってみんなそうですよね。やらしい。
I mean, you have a lot of naughty ideas in your head because of where we're meeting. You boys are such pigs. I mean, yes, but no. Like, yes and no. We weren't thinking that. We were thinking... Hold up. We were thinking you would ask us to read erotic literature to you. Very different. I didn't. He can't deny it now. You can't deny it now.
またまた。こんなところに連れてきたから、本当はちょっと期待してたんでしょ？でしょ？
You actually got your hopes up a little when I brought you here, didn't you?
だからそういうのじゃなくて。
That's not it. It made sense now that she mentioned it, but honestly, the idea hadn't occurred to me at all. I swear, I swear.
僕はただ純粋にその。
I just wanna. This is a nice deflection on her part. She's like putting us on the back foot by insulting our motive, which is distracting us from the fact that she isn't answering the question directly, which is a pretty good play on Arimura's part. Good job, Arimura.
Huh?
What? Arimura looked at me with narrow eyes as if she was judging me. What was that about?
私が先輩をここに連れてきたのは、宮代先輩のことが知りたくなったからです。
I brought you here because I wanted to learn more about you. And with that, we've lost all the momentum. Boom. He's firmly in control of the conversation and is now going to start the information extraction process.
僕のことが。
というわけで。
So now's where we get another delusion trigger, and it's like, oh, I'll start by finding out what you taste like, or something like that. See, I can do these delusions too. Anyway, she started to rustle through the contents of a cardboard box that had been beneath the desk. What? What was she getting at? What was she gonna do with me?
だから、そんなに警戒しちゃ嫌ですよ。
Well, I don't be so scared.
これ、手伝ってほしいだけですから。
I just want your help with this. This? It was a huge stack of papers. Ah, fuck. What?
その、これって
What's this?
今からこれ、製本するんで手伝ってください。
I'm gonna bind these pamphlets. Help me. Really?
Huh?
What?
いやー、友達に頼まれちゃって。ほら、私って頼まれると断れないタイプじゃないですか。
A friend asked me to do it. You know, I'm the type who can never turn down someone when they need help, right? No, I didn't know that. And I also think you're trying to put up a nice facade.
待ってください。どうして君が頼まれたことに僕が駆り出されなきゃいけないんですか？
Wait a minute, if they ask you, why do I have to help? Because you're the kind of person who would do it, because you'd feel pressure to do it. I wouldn't be able to say no.
交換条件で学食の食券2週間分くれるって言うんですもん。
They said they'd give me 2 weeks worth of meal tickets for the school cafeteria.
だからそれにどうして僕が
But why do I?
不問な。そんなの2人でやった方が早いからに決まってるじゃないですか。
Silly question. It's faster to do it with 2 people, of course. But I don't know you. Why the fuck would I help you like this?
いや全然理由になって
That's not a reason. You're getting paid. What am I doing?
まあまあ細けいことはいいん
What am I
です
getting?
よ。まずはこっちのページから折っていきますよ。
Yeah, now don't worry about the details. Start by folding these pages in half. She handed me a stack of printouts without waiting for my response.
あの
Don't take them.
ほらほら、口を動か
What?
す
You got
前
time
に
to
手
talk?
を動かす人
You
にな
got
り
time
ま
to
しょ
work,
う。
right? No. We have things to do. We have an interview. Then she ignored me and started to work. Right. We're gonna do this since we're such a doormat, right? I guess that meant she didn't intend to tell me anything else about the case. The detective had said Kakita, the victim in the revolving dead case, had been murdered. And that she was cooperating and exchanging information with him. But if I asked her about that, she'd find I overheard her conversation at Cafe LAX. Relax? Damn it. Oh, right. In the end, I was forced to make pamphlets for one of the younger classes that I knew nothing about. See what I mean? Doormat. Literally just did it. No information, no value, didn't even
もう
try.
すぐ復興祭っすね。
Woman. It's almost time for the Restoration Festival, isn't it?
うん
Yeah.
そうですね
It is, yeah, yes.
やりにくいな。
It's so hard to deal with.
え
What do you
何が
mean?
ですか
What's so difficult?
それっすよそれ。後輩なんだから敬語はいらないって言ってるじゃないですか。
I told you, you don't have to be so self-conscious.
そうですよね
Right. Absolutely.
うんまあいっか。そのうちおいおい後々後々ってことで。
We can worry about that later, I guess. What?
で何の話でしたっけ？
What were we talking about again? I don't know. We weren't talking. We just did a bunch of pamphlets for you.
そうそう思い出した。復興祭。復興祭って言えば校庭にあるあの風鈴の飾り。先輩なんて書きました？
That's right, the Restoration Festival. Speaking of that, you know those wind chimes in the yard? What did you write on yours?
ああいうの好きじゃ
I don't really like those.
Eh?
What?
いや
No,
なんで
no,
も
nothing. Oh no, I'd said what I was really thinking. Oh no, we said what we were really thinking in the conversation. Like, the audio literally just got axed the minute she was like, what the fuck? And looked at us super seriously. It's like... Oh, he said we were really thinking. The audio dies and we're panicking.
僕それ書いてないです
I didn't write
言わ
one.
れたの忘れてて
They asked me and I forgot.
なんすかそれ。協調性ないですな。
What? How come? You need to try and fit in with the group more. I couldn't argue with that, but I had a feeling that no one got along with the group as well as Arimura.
でもそっか、その手があったか。私もそうすればよかったかもな。
I hadn't thought of that. Maybe I should have done the same thing. I couldn't tell if she was faking or not, but at least on the surface she seemed sincere.
有村さんはなんて
Arimura, what did yours say?
知りたいっすか？
You want to know? We did ask. She brought her face up close to mine.
いやまあ
No, well, yeah,
私はね、
mine said.
秘密です。
A
乙女の
girl's
秘密は
secrets
高
are
いのですよ。
very expensive, you know. How about 2 hours of work with you? Because that's what we just did for free. What? I knew she wasn't going to tell us, but I'm still disappointed our character sold his time so cheaply for someone he's not into. I really didn't understand. I don't understand what our character's doing here. I know he's a doormat though, so I know that he's going to end up here if he's asked to be. Alright, if he's asked to be. There was the armor I was talking to now, the armor I'd seen with Shinjo, and the one that told me I was gonna be fucking killed, man. Which was the real armor? I probably didn't need to add explicatives there.
Yoshi, できた.
Since this game's fully capable of adding them on their own. Okay, all done. What?
ちょっと先輩、
Wait, you're not
まだ
done
終わ
yet?
ってないんすか?
You're so slow.
遅い。
ごめんなさい。
Sorry.
しょうがない。私が手伝ってあげるんで、半分貸してください。
Fine, I'll help. Give me half.
ありがとう。
Thanks. No, wait, why was I saying thanks? This is her work. There's no reason for me to be doing any of this. Was there? What the fuck was I doing? Yeah, what was I doing?
よし。
Alright, all done. At least she just got a ton of free labor out of us. I reached up to stretch my arms, and every joint in my shoulders, back, and hips cracked. I've been helping people all day, and my body felt like it was reaching its limit.
あざっす。先輩のおかげで思ったより早く終わりました。グラッチェグラッチェ。
Thanks. With your help, I was able to get done faster than expected. Grazie, grazie.
それで完成したこれはどこへ?
So what do I do with these now?
ああ、いいっすいいっす。それは取りに来てもらいますから。
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll have them come pick them up.
そう。
I see. Does she have more slaves? I thought about asking her about the case again, but decided against it. To be honest, the look on her face I'd seen last time still scared me.
それじゃあ、僕はここで。
I'll be going then.
あ、先輩、ちょい待ちです。
Oh, hold on a second.
明日、渡部さんとの対談ありますよね。
You're meeting with Watabe tomorrow, right? Yes, literally the whole school knows about it. It's the only reason we didn't have our fucking club suspended immediately. Well, it's still suspended, but we're doing this. And it's not permaban because we're getting attention. Yeah, I am. Even Arimura knew about it.
友達もみんな噂してますよ。今や先輩は注目の的。
Oh, my friends are talking about it. You're famous now. Suzuki's classmates have been talking about it too. I guess it really was a big deal. That just showed how famous Watabe was, I guess.
で、お願いがあるんですけど。
So why don't you just do me a favor? Her sweet voice made my heart skip a beat, but I tried my best to hide it. Dude, seriously? You've already done like an hour's work for her. Like, why? Come on. What?
その対談の時に、
During the
スク
interview?
ープの元になった画像、どうやって撮ったか聞いてくれませんか?
Can you ask him how he took that photo for his big scoop? Oh wait, weren't we gonna ask him that already? That's actually not a big request, since our character was already very curious how he got his last photo. The photo, if you recall, on his like the for his article was a different. I believe it was a different sumo than the one we took a picture of, right? And we were like, how the fuck did he get this picture? Because it shouldn't be right. Has someone changed things?
Huh?
The photo for his big scoop?
渡部さんの記事に貼ってあったあの画像のことです。
The one in his article. Yeah, I'm curious about that too. I assume he took a picture of a different one. But it's in the right position. But it's the wrong face, right? Oh. So what are you going to say? Are you going to say I was going to ask him about that anyway? Was that what she was talking about?
どうしてそんなことを?
Why? It's the wrong sumo sticker, right?
まあまあいいじゃないですか。細かいことは気にしない。明るく楽しくいきましょうよ。
Come on, it doesn't really matter. Just don't sweat the small stuff. Just have fun with life. I mean, if you thought it was the real one, you could have just assumed he took a drone out, right? Like, okay, if you're a famous YouTuber, right? If you're a famous YouTuber in the news section, I imagine, and you do like your own photography or have a photographer, I imagine you would probably be able to afford a cheap drone and just fly a drone up, take a picture of that, and move on with life. Like, you know, someone's not looking for 5 minutes, you fly a drone up, take a picture, fly it back down. Not too hard. Don't sweat the small stuff, just have fun with life. Okay. But
わかった。わかりました。
fine, I'll give you this.
じゃあ、これあげますから、ひなえちゃんとの約束。
Promise your darling Hina, you'll help her out, okay? I think it might have been the sticker change. Armor slid something into my chest pocket and pushed me out into the hallway.
Huh? ちょっと。
Wait.
じゃ、助かりました。アディオスグラッシャー。
Anyway, thanks. Adios, gracias. And we're gone. I took out the thing she'd put in my pocket.
食券
Cafeteria meal tickets. And only 3 days worth. The fucking nerve. What a bitch. She literally gave us 3 days worth. For all that work. Although I can see why she wouldn't have given us 10. I would have expected like 5 though. Now that I was alone, everything about Arimura seemed somehow 5 or 6 would have been at least reasonable. Everything that had happened, everything that she'd said, it seemed like it was covered in lies. Yeah. Everything, including the reward I'd been given, made it seem like I was being tricked. But you're gonna ask anyway, right? Oh, it's October 9th. My bad. I thought it was the 10th. Not there yet. Shinjo took out a picture of the face of the man who'd stabbed Cruz, then showed it to Kunosato.
そちらの読み通り、こいつと病院に入院していた例のイラストレーターとはつながりがあった。
Just like you guessed, the attacker was connected to the illustrator in the hospital. Ooh, our character, our protagonist, hasn't investigated the attacker and the illustrator. Kunosato didn't really react. He listened to him speak as if she already knew everything he was going to say.
同じ高校の同級生だ。一時は原作と絵を2人で分担して共同のペンネームで漫画を描いていたこともあるらしい。
They were classmates in high school. At one point, they were even making manga together, with one doing the art and the other doing the story.
そいつらが一連の猟奇殺人の犯人だという可能性はアリバイはあるのか？
Is there any chance these two were behind the murders? Do they have an alibi?
2人とも1年ほど前から病室もしくは部屋に引きこもりだ。イラストレーターの方は病院の監視カメラにもその記録が残ってる。
The two of them haven't left their rooms, and in the illustrator's case, the hospital. For about a year now, we've got the hospital's security camera records to back that up.
壁標の生徒を刺した男の方は家族の証言に頼るしかないが、警察に駆けつけてきた時。
As for the man who was stabbed the Hekiho student, we have to rely on his family's testimony, but when they arrived at the station... Oh, ring. And then a phone rang. Kunosato picked it up without saying a word to Shinjo. That is a unique ringtone, one that I would never assume is a normal ringtone. So I guess we can be grateful for that, because I can't tell you how annoying it is when like phones sound like your real phone and you're like, oh shit, is my phone ringing? That's it. I'd like a little... Oh, it's Hina's. Alright. Hina Armor. It's me. Okay. Hina's calling. Even from here, he could tell exactly how annoyed Hine Aramura was. Kunosato cut her off before she could say a word. Are you calling to complain or to give me your report? That's what I... Kunosato had no intention of listening to her complaints. Did she do as she was told? Did she get any results? That was all Kunosato wanted to hear. Well, I told him that's what you wanted, right? See? Getting info. Alright, make sure you're there tomorrow in person, otherwise there's no point. You stop this, it's really a pain in the neck. I'm not interested in cooperating with you. Kunosato hung up before she could finish her sentence. Shinjo was glaring at her. What's wrong? Keep going. He's just like, yeah, continue.
今のは有村さんだろ。
That was Arimura,
こちらに
right?
無断で進めるのはやめてくれないか。
Can you stop doing things without telling me first?
代替案のない批判は誹謗に過ぎないし、誹謗は暇人か無能であることの証明だぞ。続けろ。
Criticism that comes without an alternative plan is nothing but slander, and slander is how you prove you're incompetent and have too much free time. Continue.
お前な。
You know, Shinjo frowned, dissatisfied, but gave up and flipped through the new papers he was holding.
どこまで話したんだった？
How far had we gotten? He's still thinking.
壁砲の生徒を刺した男の家族の証言。
The testimony from the family of the man who stabbed the Hekiho student.
ああ。男の家族が警察に駆けつけてきた時の第一声は、息子が人を刺すなんてありえないではなく、息子が外出するなんてありえないだったそうだ。
When they got to the station, the first thing they said wasn't, I can't believe my son stabbed someone. It was, I can't believe my son left his room.
病気殺人が起こった日も絶対に家から出ていないと言っている。
They insist he didn't leave his room on the day of the murders. Kunosada looked upwards for a second as if lost in thought.
その証言、信用してもいいとは思うな。男の作っているイカれたページが事件のあった時刻に更新されているし。
I think we can trust them. The crazy page he made was updated at the same time as one of the murders.
まあ、それが偽装と言い切れなくもないが。精神鑑定は
It's possible the timestamp was fake somehow, but what does psychological evaluation say?
相変わらず救世主がどうのこうのと繰り返している。
He was still going on about being the Messiah, supposedly. Great, we have a Messiah.
メガロマニアか。
Megalomania, huh? Yep. Thinks he's gonna save the world. Kunosada frowned as if she was annoyed.
イラストレーターは2007年頃何をしていた？
What was the illustrator doing around 2007?
2007年は
2007
ま
they
だ
were
地方だ。
still in
九州だな。
Kyushu. Oh, they weren't even in the region. Okay.
確かか。
Is that certain?
ああ
Yeah, they moved to
2008年
Tokyo
末
in
に
late
東京に越してき
2008
て、その時高校で傷害の犯人と一緒になった。
and ended up going to high school with the attacker. Okay.
なるほど。当てが外れたな。釣れたのは結局、結界説なんかの妄想に逃げ込む奴らだけか。
So this one's a blind alley then. All we ended up catching was a pair clinging to the barrier theory delusion. Alright. Good plan. Suddenly she leaned back in her chair, seemingly bored. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for dead end.
そいつらは猟奇殺人に関しては白だったか。
So the two of them weren't involved in the
単
murders.
なる
It's
歴史
highly
シール
likely
の模倣犯の可能性
they're
が
just
高いな。
copycatting the sumo stickers. Okay.
模倣犯
Copycat.
アリバイが確立している以上。まあある程度だが、事件との直接のつながりは薄い。
Since they have
間接的につながるとしたら、歴史シールに関することだけ。
Since they have alibis, even if they aren't perfect, they're unlikely to be connected to the case directly. The only indirect connection would be the sumo stickers.
原作と絵に分かれていたということは、絵を描くのはイラストレーターの方だったんだろう。
If one did the writing and one did the art, it was probably the professional illustrator who did the art for the manga they produced.
歴史シールが最初に発見されたのは2007年頃の東京だ。が、その頃そいつは九州にいた。
The sumo stickers first appeared in Tokyo in 2007. At that time, they were in Kyushu.
漫画で芽が出ず、
Their
承
manga
認
didn't
欲
work
から
out.
悪ふざけで歴史シールの作者を名乗り、
Ah, I see what she's
お互いに
thinking of.
精神を
Okay,
病ん
that
で
makes sense. Their manga didn't work out, so they started claiming to be the creators of the sumo stickers out of a desire for approval, and then the two of them went crazy.
片方は持ち前の画力を生かして歴史シールに取りつかれ、もう片方は物語でも書いているつもりで、それを妄想のネタにした。
One's artistic ability caused them to let the sumo stickers take complete control, and the other used that as fuel for his delusions, as if he was writing a story. That is one way to think about it.
無
Okay.
論、確証のない推測だが、どの道すぐにわかる。
Of course,
それよりも、
I have no evidence to prove this hypothesis, but we know we'll know soon enough. Anyway, I didn't say that line with enough confidence. I think she is much more confident in her dialogue. What was more concerning was the fact that the man hadn't left his room for years. Would he really leave it just because he'd learned about a bunch of stickers appearing? And
AH 東京総合病院か。
AH Tokyo General Hospital. That was where the illustrator was kept. During the New Generation Madness, there were rumors the hospital was involved with a certain religious organization that had been involved in that particular case. It was also supposedly related to Koshin, the company involved in the restoration work that had resulted in security cameras all over town.
俺は正直半信半疑だぞ。こんないたずら書きみたいなし。
なら安心しろ。
Ah, he's...
明日
He's not sure he honestly believes these stupid stickers are involved in this case. Don't worry. You'll be working on something else tomorrow. Kunosada opened a file she'd saved on her PC.
これは
What's this?
明日壁法の新聞部と対談を行う渡部の記事だ。
It's an article by Watabe, who's having an interview with the Hekiho newspaper club tomorrow.
お前が陰で接触して炎上を煽ったあのネット記者か
The net reporter you secretly made contact with to start the flame war? Yeah. So she gave him the scoop? She gave him the scoop? Is that what she did? Oh no, she's the one who posted the news that got his attention, right? So he actually is just a glory hog then, right? He actually is just a glory hog because he copied from her, wrote the article, got a picture, and posted it like the next day, like a day later. Interesting. She nodded and then opened up a picture of the photo of the sumo sticker that was taken at the scene. Then she lined it up against the one in the article. Shinjo stared at it for a moment and then he realized.
表情が違ってる
The expressions are different? Yes, they are. I'm glad people are noticing.
渡部は今回のこと以外でも様々な現場に潜入しては大量のスクープ画像をものにしている。
Watabe's made a name for himself by sneaking into a lot of different crime scenes, not just this one, and getting pictures.
その数があまりにも多いため、一部の人間が捏造だと言って専門家たちに調査を求めた。
There were so many of these pictures that some people started saying
快く応
he
じ、
was faking them. Watabe happily agreed to hand them over to a specialist, and
画像には一切改ざんの跡は見られなかった。
there was no sign of the photos being altered. The expressions changed though, so someone's changed the photo for the. Shinjo figured out what she was trying to say. No fucking way, he said to himself. Yeah, no way. The photo doesn't just. He got the picture, but
有村に確
how
認
is
さ
the
せる。
face wrong?
もしそうであれば、
I'm gonna have Arimura find out tomorrow if I'm right.
楽しい文化祭になるかもしれないな。
That culture festival might be a lot of fun. Exhausted from all the work I'd been doing, I decided to use one of the meal tickets I'd been given. I headed to the cafeteria. But then I realized I'd never used the cafeteria before and had no idea how it worked. Oh man, I've been there. like I got this free thing. How does it work though? How does it work? There were a lot of loud groups that ate there and I didn't like it. In the end, I gave up. Instead, I decided to go out into the courtyard to check on a thought I'd had. The wind chimes that had been set up for the Restoration Festival, and the wishes that were tied to them. Arimura said it was a secret, but I was interested in seeing what she'd written down. Maybe I'd get a clue as to who she really was. Are you gonna read every single one of them? I tried to find her name among the huge number of wind chimes. There were no clappers inside the chimes. With so many wind chimes as there had been, it would have been an incredible noise. I saw several other messages as I searched. Please let everyone be happy, don't let anyone be sad. There were a lot of platitudes like that. And then, I found it. Hine Arimura. It was just a single line. Okay. I wonder if, let's see. She really wants to see or understand something, I think. It was a single line. Please let the truth be found. Yeah, okay. She wants the truth to be found. Alright. That's a good line to leave for him. Please let the truth be found. Interesting. She truly wants something. Alright. What did that mean? The truth about the earthquake? No, there was no truth to be found. An earthquake was an earthquake. There was an urban myth that the quake had been caused artificially, but there was no way that could be true. What had she meant when she'd written this? Taku! Oh, it's Sarika. Hello.
Oh.
How's it going, Sarika? I turned around and saw a familiar face.
もうどこ行ってたの？ずっと探してたんだよ。電話しても繋がらないし。
Where have you been? I've been looking all over you. You're not picking up your phone. My heart raced a little when I heard that.
だからスマホは落としたんだって。お
I
前も
dropped
知っ
it.
てるだろ。
You know that, right?
そっか。
Right. I dropped my phone at the AH Tokyo General Hospital and still didn't have it back. No, I was probably never getting it back. They had it now. They. The unenlightened masses have my phone. The two of them I had seen in the pictures on the board in the club room. Of course, I'd filled out the paperwork to have it shut off already. Phone itself was locked, so if they tried to use it anyway, it would just wipe itself. They probably wouldn't be able to see what was inside, but still, the idea that someone else, particularly someone else connected to the case, having my phone wasn't a pleasant one.
新しいの買った方がよくない？
Shouldn't you buy a new one? We live in a homeless encampment? How much money do you think we have?
まあ、そうなんだけどさ。
Yeah, but I'd spent the whole day reaching into my pocket and being surprised to find that it wasn't there. Only now that it was gone did I realize how much I depended on my phone. It was probably a good idea to do what she said and buy a new one, but that phone was... Seriously? Seriously? Are you serious? This is the kind of guy who's emotionally attached to his phone? He's like, it's my phone. It's my first phone. I can't just get rid of it. I can't just replace my phone. It's his own fucking fault for leaving that stupid phone. Just make up your goddamn mind. Are you going back to get it or not? You just said you weren't getting it. You'd already filled out the paperwork to have it deactivated and the SIM card shut down because it's effectively stolen. You're basically just claiming it's stolen. Just get a new fucking phone, man.
タク？
なんでもない。それより何か用か。
Anyway, did you need something? It's 100% his fault for losing that phone.
大変なんだよ。
That's right, I need your help. Actually, she looked like she was in a big hurry a moment ago.
だから何が？
With what? Come on.
だからね、
well, just,
とにかく来て。
come with me. Well, we're going somewhere fast. I was dragged off again. I'd lost count of how many times that happened today. Seems like it happens on a regular
お帰りな
basis.
さいませ。ご主人様ケロン。
What? Welcome back, Master Kettle. These voices were from my class's project, the Garo Froggy Cafe. After they said their lines, my classmates all started to do a strange kind of dance. They were making a video that could be displayed in the center of the cafe.
だからオ
Or
リジ
they
ナル
would
の
be,
ゲ
sir.
ロカエルは喋らないんだって。
Don't you know the original Garo Froggy doesn't dance? Ah, back to elitism. Normally I would have been forced to spend the day recording them. But since I had to help the student council, I'd been temporarily released.
で、これがどうしたんだ？
But what am I supposed to do with this?
なんか壊れちゃったみたいなの、カメラ。
The camera's broken or something.
え？
He pointed to the camera that I'd set up.
音が出ないんだよ。それでみんな困ってて。
There's no sound. Nobody knows what to do. Circa's tiny finger reached out and hit the play button. She was right. There was no sound from the camera.
変だな。今朝確認した時にはちゃんと。
That's strange. Where can I check it this morning? I decided to start by checking the camera settings. Oh, so that was it.
これ、誰かが設定いじっただろ。
Someone touched the settings, right?
どうなのかな。
音声出力がスピーカーじゃなくなってる。
Audio output's not set to speaker anymore. I called up the right setting and changed the output method. Wait, not the input method for audio? Wouldn't it be input? Or does he mean like the output so that they can hear the recording? It could be output so they hear the recording. Let's see. Is he going to press play again and everything's going to be fine? When I switched it over, I suddenly heard loud laughter and yells coming from the speaker. Yeah, there we go. Oh, you're right. Sarika smiled. I felt a little relief. They didn't lose any time. They just forgot to output the right audio output. If they hadn't been able to take the video, who knows what the rest of class would have said about me. Everybody, the camera's fixed. We're gonna start shooting, okay? It was never broken, though. It's true. They just weren't outputting audio. Oof. Okay, we're getting started, camera kid.
Right.
Everything's ready. Go ahead. Since I was the camera expert, I was put in charge of the filming. What a pain in the butt, but I didn't want to have anything to do with this crap. Right, ready, action. The loud music started to play again, and they all began to dance. But they weren't happy with the result. First, someone messed up the choreography, then they wanted to change positions. It went on and on. I mean, you're recording like an advertisement. These things don't usually happen in one shot. Or at least, I would assume they don't. I only felt like doing a good job the first few times. They said it was a promotional video, but it was really just a ripoff of something they'd seen on Nikonia. No matter what I did, it wasn't going to turn out right. But they still smiled as they danced. I wonder what's so fun about this for them. Sorry, I screwed up. Come on, it's to your right. You know, you're right, right? Look, the hand you hold chopsticks in? Got it? Oh, right, they hold chopsticks in their right hand. I see. I didn't really care. Or I guess I really didn't care. I hope this would end soon. End this misery. End this poor man's suffering. Someone get this right. No, you're letting it show. What are you, my mom now? We already have one mom character. Then, do you want to do? I can't make it look cool like you do. We're getting compliments here, come on. Flattery won't get you anywhere. Not flattering you. Eureka gave an easygoing laugh like she always did. Okay, fine, she seemed to say. And then? Miyashiro, can we see what we've got so far? Suddenly a girl in a costume talked to me. What was her name? I felt like I'd talked to her before. Yeah, you can. Isn't the sound on this kind of bad? The microphone on this camera isn't meant to record music, Tanaka. Tanaka. So that was her name. Thanks, Sarika. Sarika is amazing. I was in the same class and I didn't even know her name. Oh, it actually is Tanaka. Literally just rice patty middle. Nice. Thanks. Oh, right. Are you guys in the newspaper club really going to be having an interview with Watabe? Watabe? It's Watabe, but yeah, close enough.
Nikonia no Watabe-san no koto desu ka?
With Nikonia?
Yeah,
that's right. Wait, really? He says he is.
Huh?
Why was she bringing everyone over here? Oh. Suddenly I was surrounded. It's real? Wow. What are you gonna do with the interview? Actually, ask questions. He hasn't had time to prepare, which is really stupid. But I mean, he might prepare after school. Tanaka seems surprised. It's not about that video? It probably is, but we haven't actually confirmed that or even done anything. I was surprised. Even Tanaka knew about it? You know, the newspaper club doesn't actually stand out, but are you guys actually something special? We're being asked if we're special. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's not true. Oh, okay. If they're having an interview with Battalion, that means Entenhaka started talking. Everyone started to listen. What the heck was going on? I knew Kazuki's classmates and Aramura had talked about it, but I didn't expect my own class to get this excited. Was talking to Watabe that special?
スカよ。んなことよりもう一つの噂。お前、あれってマジ
So
な
is that other rumor true?
Huh?
Which one? We're like so out of touch that our character is so freaking out of touch with like the school and his classmates. He literally doesn't know when people are spreading rumors about him. The other rumor?
川原と殴り合ったって。
You guys got in a fight with Kawahara? What? I almost reached for my cheek, but managed to stop myself.
はあ?
Wait, seriously? Seriously?
あ、そういえば少し腫れてる。
Come to think of it, he's a little bruised. Oh, they noticed it. Kawahara was beating on us. A chorus of wait, how? Why? It's real. It's real. He actually did get beaten up by Kawahara. Guy's a dick. That is the student council vice president who randomly decided to start beating on us for something we weren't even involved with. He's a colossal douche. Although I guess we kind of deserve it as we are an arrogant, smug prick. So, you know, he probably felt we deserved it, even if we hadn't done anything. Guys, calm down. What's going on here?
すげえな、宮代。お前喧嘩なんかすんの?
Wow, Miyashiro, you get in fights?
いや、喧
No,
嘩ってわけじゃ。
it wasn't really a fight.
で、あれだ
Wait
ろ、
a
宮
second.
代。
Miyashiro, if you got in a fight with
川原
Kawahara,
ってことは、女帝と関係あんだろ?
does that mean the Empress was involved?
いや、 そ
Yeah,
の、まあ、
well,
そうですけど。
well, yes.
何それ
Wait,
何
really?
それ
Really?
もしかしてノノの取り合い
Were you fighting over Nona? Oh boy, here we go. The rumor mill's going.
いいじゃん
These wheels are spinning out of control, man. Seriously, that's so cool. Oh boy. I couldn't take any more. We're just gonna storm out. Taku? Holy shit, we actually did. I think our character might be mildly autistic. Like, he might actually be mildly autistic. He literally just, like, had to flee a classroom because people were asking him questions. Like, can you imagine just running out of a classroom in fear? Because people were asking you, like, basic fucking questions. Like, did someone really just punch you? Did you get in a fight with someone? And you're like, and then run off. Like, I'm not trying to be, like, offensive to, like, people with mental disabilities, but I feel like you should be able to answer a question about what happened to you last night, even if you're like, oh, I don't remember precisely, or you want to give like a vague answer. Like, surely you can at least if nothing else, you probably have like a vague idea of the truth, and you can be like, oh well, yeah, sort of, and then leave and just be like, or like say like one at a time. But he actually like ran out of here like he's scared. I went out the hallway as the girls started to talk about romance. I don't think I've ever like legitimately sprinted away from a conversation like that. At least one that wasn't like super hostile. That wasn't really hostile. They were just asking questions. I leaned up against a wall inside. I could hear people in the classroom asking where I'd gone. My head hurt.
タク、
Oh,
大
are
丈
you
夫
okay? Apparently not. We were like on the verge of a panic attack from people asking us questions. Suriko poked her head out of the classroom. I waved a hand and told her I was fine. And then?
人気者になったね
You're popular now, Taku. Suriko was smiling. I had no idea what she was happy about.
お前な。
Nope. They were just talking about my interview with Watabe and my argument with Kawahara because it was a good excuse to get excited and have fun.
気づいた
Did you notice?
何が?
Notice what?
呼び方カメラっ子から宮代になってたよ
The way they said your name, you went from camera kid to Miyashiro. You've been promoted. You're officially a real person now. What's that?
宮代くん
Miyashiro? Oh, it's the first lady we talked to first. Miyashiro? You ready to get started again? Tanaka poked her head out from behind Sarika.
どうしたの？いきなり出てっちゃって。
What's wrong? Why'd you leave?
あ、そのトイレに。
I had to go to the bathroom.
あ、そっか。
Sorry.
ごめん。
And now he is. Tanaka scratched her cheek a little. She looked apologetic.
ごめんね。大事な対談とかあるのにダラダラしちゃって。
You've got that interview coming up.
ダンス次でちゃんと決めるから。
We'll do the dance right next take.
はい。私たちも可愛く撮りますから。頑張ってください。
Good luck. Sarika answered for me.
ありがとう。
Thanks. As she turned to go back to classroom, I found myself speaking to her.
田中さん。
Tanaka?
何?
What is it?
Well...
Why was I saying this?
踊りに使ってる曲の音源、後でもらえますか?
Can you give me the original music you're using for the dance later?
それはいいけど。
Sure, but why? Because he's gonna mix it. He's not a complete idiot, right? He actually knows how to do some minor editing, so just replacing the audio track with the original would be way better.
最初のセリフ以外は踊ってるだけですから、セリフと音楽を別にして映像に重ねます。それで綺麗な音にできると思います。
Outside the lines at the beginning, all you're doing is dancing. I can overlay the music on top of it separately. That should make it sound a lot nicer.
そんなことこれからできるの?
Do that?
ありがとう。
Alright, let's
じゃあ
do
そ
it.
れで。
Sorry.
ごめん。トイレ早く行ってきて。
You can go to the bathroom. He ran back into the classroom excited. Can someone say copyright strikes incoming? They can't post that anywhere. Whew, that made me nervous. I felt so tired. Rika waved her cell phone strap at me happily. It made the same strange sound it always did.
だから何が嬉しいんだよ。
Hey, why are you so happy? Because we're popular now, right?
タクがね、やる気になってるから。
You're finally getting into it.
別にそういうわけじゃない。
I'm not really. It's just.
ただ。
Just what? Just what? Just what, my man? Even if it was cliche for a moment, I thought this whole school festival thing might not be so bad. Might not be. We'll see. Alright. So that's what our character's doing, just sigh. I opened the lid on my Mountain View and took a big gulp. Man, the product placement is real. It's always a Mountain View. Whoa. My head finally felt clear. Mountain View really was the water of life. I swear, I need a picture of a Mountain Dew can with the words water of life on it. Alright. It's got what plants want, right? What plants... was that the tagline in Idiocracy for the energy drink they were feeding the crops? By the time I'd finished helping with the setup for the cafe and the other things the student council had needed me for, it was nighttime. The air on the roof was a little cool on my skin. But still, all the preparations weren't finished. The student council, including me and the other helpers, had been running around the whole time. I might end up having to stay the night. I wish they'd give me a break. You think that dipshit's gonna give you a break? I mean, you still have to do your interview prep. You don't interview someone without questions prepared. At least have like 2. What?
そりゃいくら文化祭だからって何も泊まってまで。
Well, even if it's the culture festival, there's no need to stay overnight. What?
お疲れ様。
Good work today. Why is Cruz here?
クルス?
Cruz. For a moment I doubted what I was seeing, but it definitely was Cruz.
何やってんだよ?
What are you doing here?
大丈夫?
For your stomach. Is it okay to be up?
嫌だ。あんまり重病人扱いしないでほしい
They
わ
let
ね。
her out of the hospital. They got some faith in her ability to survive. Go on, don't treat me like a hospital patient. You were yesterday. I could see her face twist a little in pain. Of course. You'd only been stabbed 2 days ago. Even I knew she ought to stay in bed.
重病人扱いも何も重病人だろ。
You
寝てなきゃ
are a
ダメじゃな
hospital
いか。
patient. You need to be lying down. Whenever me or the other kids got sick or got hurt, Cruz was always the one to say, don't push yourself too hard. It's okay to rely on the people around you. When I told her that, she chuckled. You literally had me enslaved for the last day. Come on.
覚えてるのね。
You remember that. She seemed a little happy.
気になって少し様子を見に来ただけ。しっかりやってくれてるみたいで、ちょっと安心した。
I just came to check on how you were doing. It looks like you're doing your job, so I feel a little better.
大丈夫だよ。
Don't worry, I
サボるわけないだ
I
ろ。
wouldn't skip out on you.
勘弁してくれって言っていたのに。
Even though you were just asking for a break.
それは
Cruz smiled as if she was enjoying watching me choke on my words. Great, thanks, Cruz.
はい、こ
Here
れ。
you go. What do you got for me? She handed me a small bag. It was handmade from felt. Back when I lived with her, Cruz made one for me, Yuto, and herself, each in a different color. Where had I put mine, come to think of it? Who knows where it is?
お弁当。あなたのことだから、どうせご飯もちゃんと食べてないんでしょ？
Dinner. Knowing you, you didn't eat anything, right?
作ってきたのか。
For me? What?
おにぎりくらいだけどね。
It's not much more than rice balls, though. Interesting. They went with rice balls instead of onigiri. Alright, oh, that's fine. That's fine. You heard her say onigiri. You definitely hear her say onigiri. And it's definitely onigiri. And then they just translate it to rice balls. Alright. I didn't have time to make anything more, she said. Okay. What was she thinking? Why would she do that when she was injured? Why would you translate onigiri as rice balls? I guess it's better than translating it as jelly donuts, right? It'd always be jelly donuts. I sat down and opened the bag, and there was a little lunchbox inside. There were 2 big rice balls, a lightly pan-fried hot dog, and there was some tamagoyaki. She was right. None of that was particularly hard to make. Come again. What is tamagoyaki? The only reason I know what half of that is, I'm guessing it's something with egg on it. The only reason I know that is because I know what a tamago is, but like, seriously, onigiri isn't. They translate onigiri to rice balls, but tamagoyaki isn't translated. That's like an unusual choice. Like, I honestly would have, like, if I had my choice, I don't know what I would have fucking called tamagoyaki, but I definitely would have left onigiri as onigiri. But yeah, none of this is particularly hard to make.
バランスとか全然で悪いけど。
It's not exactly what I'd call healthy, though. Oh, that's fair.
どうしたの？
What's wrong?
いや、
Nothing.
いただきます。
Thanks. Okay. I suddenly felt really embarrassed. I decided to try and hide it by taking a big bite out of the rice ball. Why is it just called a rice ball? It's like, tamagoyaki is known as tamagoyaki in English, but onigiri isn't known as onigiri in English? What do they translate sushi as? Raw fish? It was a taste I hadn't experienced in a while. It was one I used to enjoy all the time.
ねえ、今日のこと聞いてもいい？
Can you tell me what happened today? A rice fish roll. Oh god, rice fish roll. It's like, it's not a maki roll, it's a rice fish roll. We gotta translate that. Sometimes people's choice of like how they want to translate some words is very questionable, like, or it feels very questionable. It's like, if I didn't like, I don't think someone would know what tamagoyaki is unless they looked it up. It is the, I believe it's the like yellow stuff you find in bento boxes it's like scrambled eggs like put in like rolls, right? Something like that, basically. I don't actually know how they make it. But onigiri, I feel like people these days know what onigiri is, if nothing else, because they translated it because of that meme where the anime meme where they're like, where everyone makes fun of Brock from Pokemon for calling onigiri jelly donuts because they're clearly not jelly donuts. Like, if nothing else, people should know that. Anyway, Chris waited for me to finish, then gently asked me, oh boy, here we go. I looked up and saw at some point she'd started staring at the stars.
Huh?
今日一日何があったのか知りたいの。
I want to know what happened
朝
today,
から何があって、
starting from this
あなた
morning.
がどういうことをしていたのか。
I want to know what you were doing. Tell me everything. Tell me everything.
生徒会の手伝いだよ。
Everything.
知ってるだろ。
I was helping the student council. You know that, right?
具体的に聞きたいのよ。あなたの口から直接。
From you, personally. She turned towards me. She seemed very serious about this. Super surreal. I didn't really know what she was thinking, but I felt like I had to give her a real answer.
和樹の手伝いをした。
I helped Kazuki.
和樹の？
Kazuki?
うん。クラスの展示に使うパーツを運んでほしいって。
You wanted me to help carry a part for her class's display.
そう。和樹喜んでた？
Was she happy?
多分。
I think.
ああ、そういえば
She
ス
gave
ル
me
メ
some
くれ
dried
た。
squid. I mean, she must have been reasonably happy she gave me some dried squid.
そう。
I
他
see.
に
What
は？
else?
有村さんに
I
知らない
remember
クラ
maybe
スのパンフレッ
help
ト
her
作
with
りを
some
手伝わされ
pamphlets.
た。
I don't know what class they were for.
有村さん。
Her eyes narrowed just a little. Armor was involved in the case, so she probably didn't want me talking to her. Yeah, I didn't want us talking to her either. But hey. And she's suddenly grim.
大丈夫だよ。
It's okay, all I did was
本
make
当に
those
パンフを
pamphlets.
作らされただけだから。
I see.
そう。それだけなのね。
Right? To be honest, I tried to talk to her about the case, but if I told Carice that, she'd get worried. So I didn't.
それで、
So,
他には？
what else?
Huh?
Well,
あなたのクラスはどうな
what
の？
about your class? The Garo Froggy
ゲロカ
Cafe,
ールン
wasn't it?
喫茶だったかしら。
Don't remind me, don't remind me.
ああ、それはなんとか形になったみたいだけど。
Yeah, it's shaping up okay, I guess. That'd be my response too. It's like, well, we recorded an ad, sort of.
あなたが映像の担当なんでしょ？
You in charge of the video, right? Yeah. I noted.
もうほとんど
Seems
終
a
わ
little
ってて
awkward. I think I need
残りは明日の朝。映像はもうできてるからそれに音楽を載せるだけなんだ。
Almost done. I'm doing the rest tomorrow morning. The video's done, so all I have to do is add the music track.
朝で間に合うの？
We'll be done if you do it tomorrow morning.
十分だろ。
That's plenty of time. Yeah, it's like, what, 5 minutes? Like, what, 30 minutes maybe? Honestly, I hadn't expected to be working until the morning of the festival.
でも、今日は泊まり込みになるんでしょ？
Just say it tonight. Here, don't you? Bruce talked as if it was the most natural thing in the world. I almost couldn't believe it.
毎年こんなに忙しかったのか。
Is the culture festival always this busy? I'd never participated, so I had no idea what everyone was doing all this work. You had no idea that everyone was doing all
まあ
this.
ね。でも今年は特
This year is
別。
special. The
復
Restoration
興祭
Festival
も
is
近い
close.
し、初めての3
It's
学
the
年
first
揃っての
culture
文化
festival
祭
that
だか
includes
ら。
all 3 grades here.
そっか。
We third year students had been the first class at Hikio Academy. This would be the first year all 3 grades had a full class at the school.
もう一日中バタバタしすぎてわけがわかんなかったよ。
So busy all day, I didn't even have time to think. I'd been forced to carry so much stuff I was getting muscle cramps, and then it was one problem after another. Talking to new people always made me nervous, and I had to do that a bunch of times. I was really tired.
何？
What? Carice saw me thinking back on the day's events and smiled.
それで？
And
それで、あなたはどう感じたの？
how did it feel to you? How did it feel? Miserable. I don't like doing work.
大変だっ
It
た
was
よ。
hard.
それだけ？
Is that all? It was like she could read my mind. Damn it. I felt a little awkward as I spoke.
あのさ、
Listen.
ええ、
Yes?
うちのクラスとか
There
結
were
構いいやつもいた。
some decent people in my class.
そうなんだ。
I see.
明日の渡部との対談楽しみにしてるって。
They said they were looking forward to my interview with Watabe tomorrow.
そう。
I see.
あとカメラっ子って言っていたやつが宮代って。
The guys calling me camera kid. They started calling me Miyashiro.
うん。
Yes? Yes? Yeah.
どう？タ
Well,
クル。
it's okay. God, the spacing sometimes really throws me off.
何が？
Well, what? She looked like a mother giving a present to a young child.
事件なんか追わなくても結構楽しいものでしょ？
You can have fun without trying to solve the case, can't you?
それは。
That's not what he meant. I tried to deny it, but I couldn't. That's right, Carius had come all this way, even though she was hurt just his. Abandon the case. Give up on everything you're interested
タ
in.
クル。帰ってくる気にはなれない？
Only do things I tell you to do. Takuru, do you feel like coming home? No.
父さんもユイもユウトも
Dad, Yui
そ
and
れを
Yuto
望ん
want
で
you
る。
back. Yui especially.
特に
All she ever
ユイが
talks
ね、
about is how you're not there to
あ
clean
な
the
たがお風
bathroom.
呂掃除をしていなかったってうるさいの。
I can imagine it. Yui was like a mini Cruz. I wouldn't want to deal with her. The woman definitely had the upper hand in that household.
タクル。もう事件なんか追わないって約束して。帰ってきなさい。手伝ってほしいこと
Oh
た
boy.
くさんあるの。
It's our late night promise. Takuru, promise me when you're done with the case. Come home. There's a lot of things I want your help with.
タクル。
Takuru.
ごちそうさま。
Thanks for dinner. I put the lunchbox back in the bag, stood up, and handed it to her. Then I headed towards the
わ
dorm.
かった。考えてみるよ。
I'll think about it.
そう、
See,
よかった。
I'm glad. Alright. I could hear Cruz's footsteps as she tried to catch up to me. But the next moment,
クルス。
Cruz. Heard a small moan and I turned around. Cruz had crumpled to the ground holding her
お
stomach.
い、クルス。
Hey, Cruz. What are you doing? I'm fine.
平気、
I'm just fine.
大丈夫。
She was trying to force herself to smile, but there were thick drops of sweat on her forehead.
大丈夫じゃないだろ。
You're not fine.
ごめんなさい。
It's gonna be a one-way trip to the nurse's office
と
for
に
you,
かく帰る
lady.
んだ。タ
Just
ク
go
シー呼
home.
ぶから。
I'll call a taxi. I let her lean on my shoulder and we hurried to the front gate as quietly but quickly as possible.
青葉院までお願いします。
Alpha Clinic, please. I got her loaded inside the taxi and told the driver where to go.
タクル。
Good.
さっきのこと考えておいて。
Think about what it said. Fine, I get it. I moved away so I could shut the door.
タクル。
Takuru.
ありがとう。
Thanks. Alright.
何が？
For what?
何がだろうね。
What? I wonder. The door closed and the taxi disappeared down the road. Usually everyone called her Empress and she acted like my big sister. Now she looked weak as if I was the older brother and she the little sister.
あ、そうだ、ユイ。
Right. Yui. I remembered Yui when I thought of the little sisters. I needed to send her a message about Kurus.
あ、
Ah, no phone. I put my hand into my pocket once again and realized my phone wasn't there. How many times did this happen today? I'll have to ask Sarika.
宮代？
Yeah, sure.
え？ 川原くん、
Kawahara. Oh no, had he seen Kurus here?
何かあったのか？
Did something happen?
あ、いや、
Oh, no.
そうじゃありませんけど。そうか。
I see. What is with this, they got this arch here. Is this done by the middle school kids, or is this by the high schoolers? From the way he was acting, he probably hadn't seen her, right? If he'd seen her, he wouldn't be acting this way. He'd probably blame me for putting too much strain on her and hit me again.
ほら。
Here. Kawahara tossed something at me.
あ、
I almost dropped it, but managed to grab it at the last second. It was a can of coffee. I was thinking he'd throw a pillow at us and be like, "You're sleeping here tonight."
飲めよ。
Drink it. Looks like we're pulling an all-nighter.
いや、でも、
Working hard. Thanks, but
泊まり込みになるからな。
we're gonna be staying here all night after all. I called it. I'm like, oh my god, he's just coming here to tell us we're working all night, right? Yep.
は
Yep.
あ、どう
Thanks.
も。
Thanks, then. Get used to it. The life of the salaryman. He opened another can for himself and took a drink and then looked around the courtyard. There were stalls lined up, each covered in flashy decorations. All the preparations were finished around here.
クルスが来れないって分かった時はどうなるかと思ったけど。
I was worried when I found
なんと
Cruz
か形になり
wouldn't
そう
be
だ。
here, but it's shaping up well, isn't it?
うん。
Yeah, you just need to enslave a few more people. So how's the interview planning going? No one's asked about the interview planning. I'm like really bothered by that. I'm like, surely he's gonna do it at some point, right? What was going on? Kawahara kept glancing at me as if he was waiting for the right moment to say something. Is he gonna confess to you? Is he secretly one of those people who likes yaoi? The real confession. Not being gay. Nobody cares about that. That's whatever, who cares? The real confession is liking yaoi. Trashy yaoi. Eventually he took a big sip of his coffee and said,
悪かったな。
I'm sorry.
Huh?
He pointed to my cheek. I knew he was talking about hitting me.
いえ、悪かったのは僕ですから。
That's my fault. Yeah, our guy is a doormat, so he's like accepting that someone going off on their own doing something you didn't want them to do and getting hurt for it is his fault. Seems good. He began to speak hesitantly. Actually, you see...
あの日の次の朝、クルスから電話があったんだ。できればお前に謝ってほしいっつってな。
The morning after that, Cruz called me. She said she wanted me to apologize to you, if I could.
そんなの気にすることないですよ。
You don't need to worry about it.
まあな。
Oh,
そりゃそうなんだけどよ。
This school has really shitty policies, by the way. It's that I thought Japan was very strict. I didn't realize they're actually okay with people fighting. I mean, I guess that's why they have like gangs and shit, delinquent gangs and shit. Meanwhile, in North America, it's like, oh, you were fighting even if it wasn't on school grounds. Did you want to get expelled? Did you want to get expelled? Interesting. Kara's side stretched and leaned against the school gate.
癖かもな。小学生の時からあいつは委員長っつうか、いつもリーダーみたいなことやってたからな。
Maybe it's habit. She's always been the class rep since elementary school. She always acted like a leader.
小学生の時からあんなだったんですか。
She's been like that since elementary school. Both Karus and Kawahara went to the same public elementary school. I'd gone to a different private one.
とにかく面倒見が良くてな。みんなあいつのこと好きだったよ。
She was great at taking care of people. Everyone liked her.
特に俺とあともう一人。地震で死んじまったけど、南沢ってやつはいつもクルスと一緒にいた。3人でよくつるんでたんだよ。
Especially me and one other girl. Her name was Minamisawa. She died in the earthquake, but before that, the three of us were always together.
知ってるか？
Did you know she
あい
ran
つ
the
小学
relay
校の頃
race
は
every year?
毎年リレーの選手だったんだぜ。え、
I was really surprised. She didn't seem to be that bad at sports, but she didn't seem to like them. She couldn't do a spin on the horizontal bar. She must have found my reaction funny, because Kawahara continued in a more upbeat tone.
あの地震で大怪我してな。
She got really
今
badly
はそ
hurt
う
in
で
the
もないけ
earthquake.
ど、
She's better now,
し
but
ばら
for a
くは歩
while
く
it
の
was
さえ
really
大変
hard
そう
for
に
her
し
to
てた
walk.
んだ。
I'd had no idea. When I woke up a year after the quake, I hadn't seen any sign of that. She'd probably gone through a lot of hard rehab while I'd been in a coma.
その影響で運動はほとんどしなくなった。一度だけ運動部に誘ったんだが、断られたよ。
That's why she stopped doing any kind of sports. They invited her to join a team once and she refused.
そうだったんですか。
I see. There was a moment of awkwardness. I didn't know what to do. Come to think of it, I never talked with Kawahara like this before.
文化祭。盛り上げられるだけ盛り上げようぜ。あいつから任されたんだからな。
Let's make the culture festival as fun as we can. She left us in charge, after all. Kawahara turned away from me and walked back into the school building.
そうか。
So that's why. I realized he'd been acting weird all day because he was waiting for a chance to apologize. At someone else's request. Alright, we're at Nar Aggregator. These sumo sticker memes will have you dying. A collection of the stupidest memes for the sumo stickers appearing in Shibuya. What's a sumo sticker or a mysterious sticker? They're about 20 centimeters by 15 centimeters, a design like 2 overlapping faces, 3 eyes, 2 noses, 2 mouths. They look like that of a fat man, no one knows what they really are. Alright, totally sumo. Don't call me a sumo sticker, call me Mr. Sumo Sticker. Totally sumo. Alright, nom nom sumo sticker. Now I'm getting excited. I slid here. What? I danced with bad luck. Those who put their feet in the ring have danced with hard luck. Make peace with the sumo wrestler, it says. LOL. The volcano tells me to put the stickers up with a cannon, but there's even Vocaloid songs about them? Really? Amazingly, this song hit 1 million views only 24 hours after release due to an article on sumo stickers published by web journalist Tomoyaki Watabe. Alright, looks like even Vocaloid has a sumo sticker song. Cool. Alright. Can I, like, close the windows on this? No. I tried.
それじゃあ消すよ。
Okay, I'm turning them off.
思った以上に暗くなるね。
It's darker than I thought. I hope you have blinds.
大丈夫か？
You okay?
多分。
Yeah.
じゃあみんなおやすみ。
Good night, everyone.
はいよ。
Good night, Sarika.
おやすみ。
Alright, good night.
おう。
Yeah. I guess, when do you shower? When do you shower? You just use the locker rooms, I guess? Talkative as always.
何も見
I
えない。
can't see a
椅子
thing.
どこ？
Where's the chair? Holy shit, they got some really good blinds. Damn, can I have those blinds? Can I have those blinds? Where's the chair? Ooh. That was Hannah? Ooh.
花ちゃん
Hannah,
蹴っちゃった。
I
ごめん。
stepped on you, I'm sorry. She almost said something, guys. She almost said something.
そこが花ちゃんって
If
こと
Hannah's there, does that mean that
こっちに。
over here is... What was that, an elbow?
ごめんしんちゃん。
Sorry, she...
何が？
No? For what? It was me.
僕だ
That
僕。
was me. Me.
もうどこがどこだ
I
か。
don't know where I am.
なんか落ちた。
Something fell.
もういい。電気。
Enough. Turn on the lights.
カ
No,
ーテン
open
開
the
けろカー
curtain.
テン。
Oh my god. Sarika, how are you so clueless?
オッケー。
Okay. Ah, okay, you died. I banged my toe on it. A dim light poured in from outside. Someone, please get this girl Let this girl get into bed before the blinds close. She can't seem to memorize the room. I can see the outlines of the room. I had no idea what the hell Sarika had done, but she was rubbing her head and her pinky toe simultaneously. We can still sleep like this, right? Are we laying on
こんな
cardboard?
ことならもう少し片付けておけばよかった。
If I'd known, I would have cleaned up a little first. Looks like we're sleeping on cardboard mats. It was almost a new day. Since everyone had to be at a meeting early, I'd ended up staying at school after all. Since there were no beds, we had to sleep under our desks.
なあ、好きなやつとかいるの？
Do you two have a guy you like? What?
何？
What? No,
お前に聞いてねえ
I'm
よ。
not asking you. I'm
女子
asking the girls. Where did this come from?
いいからよ。
Just answer me. Do
い
you?
るのか？
Oh, no way.
おのえ。
私
Me?
みんな好きだよ。
I like everybody.
そういうんじゃなくて。
I don't mean like that. No,
Yeah.
no. Never
和
mind.
樹は？
What about you, Kazuki?
うーん。
She's chewing on squid. Leave her alone. Look at her mouth. Chewing on dried squid. Don't try to sleep and eat dried squid at the same time. See?
じゃあ、ファーストキスはいつだ？
What about your first kiss? When was that?
まだだよ。
I haven't had it yet.
うーん。
Looks like someone got kicked in the shins.
しんちゃんはいつな
What about you,
の？
When was yours? You asked the question.
もういい。
Never mind.
夜の学校にお泊まりというイベント、お
I was
前
a
ら
fool
相手
for
に期待
expecting
した
anything
俺
out
が
of you
愚
two
かだ。
because we were staying at school overnight. You might have deserved that one.
そうだ、忘れてた。目覚まし5時でいいよね。
I should set the alarm for 5 a.m., right? Wow, fuck you, Sarika. Wow, fuck you, man. 5 a.m.? Fuck no. She filled with her smartphone as she talked. What? She's agreeing?
はなちゃん、
Hana?
どうしたの？
What's wrong?
Huh?
What? Was that voice Hana? I'd never heard her laugh before. Wait, what was so... Wait.
尾上の顔か？
Onoe's face. Mhm.
う？
What? Why? Is there something wrong
な
with
の？
my face?
私の顔。
The light from the phone screen lit up Sarika's face in the darkness like a horror movie. She must have been waving her hand because it would appear, disappear, and then reappear again.
何？
What?
どういうツボだよ。
How is that funny? I couldn't help but agree with him. Did she love horror? Did she look like an enemy character in an MMO?
私の顔
There's
って
something wrong
お
with
か
my
しい
face.
の？
Kazuki burst out laughing and Sarika moved closer to her. What's so funny? What's so funny? Sarika said as she moved closer. Then for some reason they started to tickle each other.
仲がよろしい。
Wait, is he not fantasizing this? There's no outline. This isn't a fantasy. He's just watching two girls tickle each other in real life. Alright. I was like, where the heck is the delusion trigger? I don't see it. A lot had happened today. They were all new experiences to me. I swear that would have been something in one of his delusions.
事件なんか追わなくても結構楽しいものでしょ？
You can have fun with it trying to solve the case, can't you? Maybe I could.
タクル。もう事件なんか追わないって約束して。帰ってきなさい。
Promise
手
me
伝って
when you
ほ
get
しいことたくさんあるの。
There's so much I want your help with. Please come home. When you're finished with the cake. No pillows. Remember, guys, no pillows, just cardboard. I hope you enjoy the wonderful blankets they have, also cardboard. If I wanted to, I could go back to the orphanage and live the same life as everyone else. Or could I? Hmm.
くちょくちょくちょくちょくちょ。
Oh, it's starting with the tickle prompt. Oh man. Oh man. I was like gonna pick negative for him fantasizing about returning home, but ooh, the tickle prompt. The tickle prompt. Positive delusion? Positive delusion time.
こら
No
逃げちゃ
running.
ダメ。
Here is. Hey, hey. Stop screwing around and sleep, girls. Why did girls like to touch each other so much? It's not like guys are lovers. Stop. Me and Ito are right next to you. Don't forget that. Positive delusion time.
花ちゃんって胸大きいね。
You've got big breasts, don't you? Wait, we can have more? We can have more?
花ちゃん 息荒いよ。 ね、キス
Can I
していい？
kiss you? No. I'm going to, whether you want me to or not. There we go. We'll have the answer of when the first kiss was.
興奮してるの？
Are you excited? So cute.
かわいい。
I don't need to read half of this. That's one nice thing.
私も興奮してきちゃった。
I'm so excited too.
ねえ、花ちゃん。
Huh.
私のも触って。
Touch mine too. Oh, here we go. Here we go. It feels good.
そう。私の胸ドキドキしてるの。
That's right. Can you feel how fast my heart is beating? Bam! Right out there. I couldn't take it anymore and gulped loudly. Kazuki and Sarika suddenly stopped whispering. Oh no, they'd heard me. The main character's face, he's like, my god. This is like the face of someone who's seen something terrifying. What?
タクが私たちの声盗み聞きしてるよ。
Taku is listening to us.
うん。
No, you're right next to me. I can't help it. I wanted to say that, but I couldn't speak. If I did, they'd know I was listening for sure. Oh, he's resting his head on a textbook. Did you see that?
なんだけど。
Did you see that? Taku's resting his head on a
混ぜてあ
textbook.
げようか。
Paperback. I saw that because I was actually paying attention. And here's an idea. Why don't we let Taku join in? Yep. There it goes. There it is. The expected. Want to join in? Yep.
どう？
How bad?
オッケ
Okay.
ー。ねえ、タク。
Taku.
こっちおいでよ。
Come over
私
here.
と花ちゃんでタクの体たっぷりくすぐってあげ
Hannah,
る。
I will tickle you too. Crap, when I closed my eyes, my imagination started getting better at me. It was their fault for saying that stuff next to me. Oh well, they actually weren't saying any of that. Just listening to them tickle each other was enough to excite a healthy young boy like me. I listened carefully for a moment and I realized I could hear soft snoring. Had they fallen asleep while my imagination was in overdrive? Damn it, they need to consider my feelings too. I'd gotten so excited I wouldn't be able to sleep for a while. I need to think of a way to kill some time. Suddenly Ito started to fidget. Was he awake? Did he know what I was thinking about? I got nervous for a second, but he ignored me and took out his phone to check the time.
どうした
What's up?
忘れてた。そろそろ0時だぞ。
I forgot, it's almost midnight.
Huh?
Oh,
だ
okay. Ito stood up and started to fiddle with the club's PC.
はい2015年10月10日0時になりました。
It's Kei-san.
皆様ようこそいらっしゃいませ。 K さんと申します。
Hello, it's midnight, October 10th, 2015. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Kei. I heard a familiar voice.
今日の夜は少し冷え込んでいますね。
It's a little cold
着
tonight, isn't
実
it?
に秋が到来しているようです。いかがお過ごしでしょうか。
Seems like autumn is upon us. How are you all doing? Definitely not 2020,
本日放送の機会を設けさせていただいたのは
or whatever year we're in
聞
these
いてく
days.
ださっている皆様ならもうご存知ですね。
Now then, the reason for today's broadcast is, well, I'm sure you already know already, don't you?
本日10月10日は6年前にヴァンパイアと呼ばれた事件が起きた日付です。
Today is October 10th. 6 years ago, the vampire incident occurred today. She was right, I'd totally forgotten. The day was October 10th. Somewhere in Shibuya, probably in the next 24 hours, someone... No, I just thought about this, right? I could live the same life as everyone else. I could just forget about the case.
電話
A phone
なん
call.
だよ、こんな
Could
と
it be at this hour? Izo froze as he looked at the phone.
しんちゃん
Shin-chan.
これまでの経緯をもう一度簡単に。
I'll explain what happened once more. We don't need to hear this. Kei's voice suddenly vanished. Ito had muted it. His hands were shaking a little.
おい、
What?
やべえ。
Oh shit, what the hell's
な
going
ん
on?
だこれ。
Wait, what? What? Ito? What?
何かだよ。
With what?
電話。お前からだ。
The call. It's from you. Oh shit. His phone's locked? His phone is locked and disabled. The SIM card's disabled. How are they getting into the phone and using his phone? They guess the password? It's disabled, so if they try to get it, he even mentioned he had the auto wipe feature enabled. You know that, right? Like, he specifically said he called to have the phone disabled already, filled out all the paperwork, and that if they tried it, they would wipe the password. So they got it in like 5 or less attempts. They got it in like, what is the usual, like 5 or 10 or less attempts for phones to auto wipe. Might even be, it probably isn't 1, but at least I think my phone defaults to 10. Defaults to 10 is like the most. It goes lower. So, they guessed his password in less than 10 attempts. As you can't typically call contacts without unlocking a phone. Yeah, the call, it's from you. That's terrifying.
Huh?
It took me a minute to understand what he was saying. Then he showed me the screen.
だから、これ見ろ。
Look at this. The screen read. Takeru Miyashiro. You're kidding me?
なんだよ。
What's going on? Remember, the SIM card should no longer function as a phone. The SIM card should no longer function. They'd have to put in a new SIM card and unlock the phone. Which, I mean, you could do because you have access to his phone, but... what are they using to hack into his phone? That's some serious shit. Alright. What's going on? My phone was locked. No, wait, I called the company and had them shut off the account. See, even the protagonist knows the account's gone. You can't make phone... I mean, the ID wouldn't... If you call from the same phone, it would give a different ID because it's using the SIM card to route that, right? Yeah, the account's gone. You can't call from his account.
どうするんだよ、これ。
What do we do with this? What? I didn't know what to do. Should I ignore it? I promised Carice that I'd give up the case. No, wait, was now really the time for that? My mind raced, but I couldn't come up with an answer. The next thing I knew, I grabbed the phone from Ito and answered it. There was silence, as everyone held their breaths and watched me. I put my ear up to the phone and heard nothing. All I could hear was the sound of my own heartbeat. Say hello. Pretend you don't know anything and be like, hey, Takuru, or hey, bro, what's up? Don't use your real name. But they might have you in context because you're the owner, right? They have a Ito. At some point, my breathing had become shallow and pained. I leaned against a nearby desk just to give myself some means of support. The person on the other end of the phone said nothing. What do I do? What do I do? Damn it, what the hell's going on? Say something, you idiot.
お前誰だ
Who are you? My voice was shaking so much it was pathetic. Everyone was perfectly still as they watched. It was no good. I couldn't hear anything.
Huh?
Oh, fuck. He is so fucked. Oh my god. Why would you answer that phone in the first place? Oh my god. Okay. He's allowed to panic. He's allowed to panic here.
Oi, どうした?
What's wrong? You're allowed to panic. I'm not going to make fun of you for panicking here. I dropped the phone and fell to my knees. Sarika had come over towards me. I grabbed her and held her tight. I was so scared. So scared. The protagonist's phone fund. Well, it's $1. $1 that protagonist desperately needs, what with his being homeless and being a bit of a dumbass. Yeah, I can fucking sympathize with this guy. Holy shit. That is terrifying. Remember, that is the knocking from the door in the haunted room. In the haunted room, that the knocking that they like actually had a legit panic attack over, which, I mean, in theory you would assume it's a real person, but given that we know that it's probably like the ghost murderers or whatever the fuck is killing people, that is legit terrifying. Like from a viewer's perspective, like someone reading this novel, they know it's bad news. From the character perspective, he seems to have like magical meta knowledge to know that it's bad news and not to answer the door. Yeah, the knocking is from the murder room when we were investigating and having our panic attack over seeing what we thought was 3 dead bodies. The knocking on the other side is what was terrifying us. At least he had the wherewithal to turn on the lights. Although I'm actually thinking, I'm actually thinking that was someone. Or no, they turned on the lights later, right? They turned on the lights before the call. That was probably like Shinji or Sarika. Yeah, I was scared, so scared. That sound. That sound. It's the sound. The knocking sound I'd heard when I was at the hotel. I frantically rubbed the ear I'd been holding to the phone. But it wouldn't stop, it wouldn't go away. The sound. My chest was filled with foreboding. I'd snuck into that hospital and they'd stolen my phone. Didn't that count as something really bad? I don't actually feel bad for him being terrified about that, so he kind of deserved that. This is why you don't let random creepy people have your phone. It's 9:30, everyone. Are you ready? It's time. He hasn't prepared a single fucking question, by the way. This interview is going to be a colossal disaster if he doesn't get fucking carried by the other guy. You should have all your interview questions prepared like hours ahead of time and memorized. For the annual Hekio Academy Cultural Festival to begin. Yeah, I don't think we're, I don't think our character's ready for this. Hooray! Hooray! The mood shift. I'm still, like, trembling from the knocking sound, and all these girls are going, "Wah!" All the students in the gym roared as soon as Kawahara finished. Cheerful music began to fill the room, and students in costumes, who probably belonged to some club or another, began to dance. Half the students watched them and laughed as they left the gym. They were probably students in charge of the classroom displays and stalls in the courtyard. Kazuki looked over at me to see if I was okay. Yeah, well, I'm okay. Yeah, he's probably exhausted because I would have gotten no sleep that night. Even if it was a lie, it was all I could bring myself to say. I couldn't smile. Because of her talents, Kazuki was asked to handle the audio system along with me for the student council opening ceremony. The rest of the student council, except for Kawahara, as well as Sorika and Ito, should have left during the ceremony to patrol the school. It was only going to get busier than when the school opened to the public at 10 a.m. about 30 minutes from now. When that happened, people from outside the school would be allowed in, and many different events would be held. I had to do my job too, but I couldn't bring myself to get out of the chair. I swear to God, this idiot, if he hadn't lost his fucking phone, he would have been able to bring up the fucking knocking sound to Watabe. Wouldn't that have been insane if he was like, yeah, I bring my music evidence, I bring the knocking evidence to Watabe, and I'm like, I got fucking called with this shit. It's getting fucking insane. I mean, he's like, hey, look, what do you think of this? I got this great scoop. It's actually like, looks like a murder. Here's what it looks like. Watabe would have been like blown. His mind would have been fucking blown about how much evidence we got. But alas, we're not doing any preparations for that. We lost our phone by being a complete moron. And we didn't go back home to bring our laptop, so we don't have any of the video evidence that we should have used for Watabe's interview. He would have been hype as fuck for that. He would have been like, holy shit, I saw a video of the crime scene. This guy is like a legit mad lad. Like, you would have been on a high. Watabe would have been on a high. It could have been really great if you were still into the case stuff, but you kind of fucked that really hard. Even before Karu's told you not to do it, possibly because she's like really leveraging every single thing she can do to get you to quit this case. And be more terrified of the case, of course. Because, you know, that's half of what she's trying to do. What do we got? What do you got, Hannah? Kazuki offered me a lollipop. Is it fresh?
Yeah.
She thought a moment and then took a piece of dried squid from who knows where.
いや、そうじゃなくて。
Fine, I'll take it.
わかった。もらうよ。
I grabbed the lollipop and stood up. Kazuki stayed to handle the audio. She might have problems communicating, but there were other members of the student council, and she'd probably be fine.
ありがとな。
Thanks.
自主映画特別棟2階視聴覚室でやってます。100円です。
A student film in the AV room
タダで配布して
on
ま
the
す。
second floor of the special use building. Tickets are 100 yen, pamphlets are free. I like the lantern this guy's holding. I like the lantern the guy's holding in the center. Also, the froggy costume there is kind of cute. Oh boy. Balloons everywhere. That's got to be a lot of effort to make. Starting at 9:30 a.m., we're playing comedy tennis at the tennis court on the roof. Get fired up. I ignored the advertisements and head into my destination. Advertisements, I guess. After that, Ito picked up the smartphone and called the number back. No one had picked up. There was only the message that displayed, when you shut off your service, the customer has requested this number be temporarily disabled. Holy shit. Holy shit. Dude, that's like some legit, urban myth. That's like some like legit urban myth, contemporary horror shit where you're like, oh fuck. We're actually getting into horror movie territory. We're actually getting into horror territory. Phones that are already disabled calling you. We talked for a while, but none of us had any good ideas. By 3 a.m., we'd settled on participating in the culture festival like normal, and then laid down on our desks to get some sleep. But I couldn't sleep, I was too nervous. In the end, I didn't get a wink of sleep and was only half awake for the opening ceremony and final check of the class's video. Did you at least unfuck their audio? That'd be nice, man. In the morning, I'd passed Armor in the hallway. She had the smile on her face she wore when she was with her friends. That only made me more nervous, and I was still nervous now. So, at what point did we prepare any interview questions for this guy? Like, we want to at least have, like, one question, or is he interviewing us? I'm not really clear on what's going on. I didn't yawn even once. Oh. I can see Sarika patrolling the stalls near the gate through the open doors of the school. Come to think of it, she said she hadn't slept well either. If someone with her appetite was ignoring all the tasty treats for sale at the food stall, she must have been telling the truth. Sarika had made contact with them at the hospital too. How were they able to call when I shut off my phone? I should have stopped thinking about it. I'd asked myself all these questions already. Why had they called Ito? How were they able to? Was there a reason they called right at the start of the day of the New Generation Madness? Should I go to the police? Would they believe me? I hadn't come up with answers to any of those questions. I could hear loud murmurs in the distance. Hey, near the back gate. They say Watabe is here. Seriously? Let's go see. Huh? He was early. The meeting was supposed to be at 1 p.m. Wait, he was going to do an article in the festival itself, right? You're not going? At some point, Sarika had walked up behind me. Was she on patrol? I'll go see him later anyway. It doesn't matter. Suddenly, she got very close to me. What? You need to be more energetic. Are you still thinking about what happened yesterday? Apparently so. Of course I am. I'd be crazy not to be thinking about it. You were looking gloomy until a moment ago, too. She was. When I'd seen her just a second ago, she looked really glum, but for some reason she looked better now. She looked surprised that I'd seen her, and then... That's true, but if that's how it is, why don't we do something to solve that case before something happens? What? Finding the truth together, all 5 of us. That's the club's motto, right? I never heard that motto before. Well, it's our motto now. You can do it, Taki. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Sarika. After giving me a completely baseless motivational speech, she went back to her patrol. You can do it, Taki. He's encouraging us. Again, I don't care. This is our second flashback to Karus's request for us to come home and abandon the case. After she's like pulled everything, every trick in the book to try and get us to just abandon it. With, honestly, like from her perspective, she has very little reason to make us quit this. Like, why? This is what you're supposed to do as an investigative journalist. Maybe not like break as many, maybe not like go onto as many crime scenes. But I mean, like, you're gonna try to be at those scenes. You're gonna try to get a shot of them. Like, that's literally like what you do, right? You're like one of those guys. If you're one of those guys who wants to be in the action, getting pictures, like that's literally the job that seems like what he wants to do with his life. I don't really see why Karus needs to like try and sabotage him so hard. Like, you know, reporter, like, it's not, like, the most glamorous job, but it's a job, right? And there's a lot of people who are enthusiastic or passionate about it, which our character seems to be, like. It's not like it's some half-ass profession. For now, I need to get through this interview. Like, you can go to university for that shit, right? Get a degree in that? First, there was the video to talk about, and then the sumo sticker with a different face. It would be great if I could ask Watabe what that meant, too. I took a deep breath and started to go over the interview in my head. Well, I guess we're just doing this off the cuff. Despite being someone who has literally no speaking ability and can't even talk to new people, we're gonna just talk to this guy and ask him questions we haven't prepared yet. Okay.
来ないね。
No sign of him, huh?
渡部さん、どうしちゃったのかな。
It was already 1:15. The interview was supposed to start at 1. Everyone heard Watabe, the famous journalist, was going to be here. The audience seats in the gym were packed. There were even people standing. Everyone in the club except Karus had arrived, and we were waiting below the stage. All the preparations were complete, but there was no sign of the man himself.
控え室にはいたんだろ
He was in the waiting room, right?
ああ
Yeah.
1時間くらい前かな挨拶してきた
Came to say hello about an hour ago.
何やってんだ
How is he doing? Did he get nervous and go to the bathroom?
それは
I
僕
did.
だ
Uh,
ここだけの話さっきからトイレばっかり行ってるやっぱり僕には無理だこんな大勢の前で対談なんて
Between you and me, I've lost count of how many trips I've made to the bathroom today. I don't think I can do this. I can't talk in front of all these people. Okay, this is why I said, like, this guy clearly has problems speaking to normal people face to face, people he hasn't spoken to, and dealing with groups. And he's going to be speaking on stage. Why on earth would you not prepare note cards to look at so you can just read them when you're, like, asking questions? Like, you have a question for him, you're like, here's this, here's my photo evidence. He hasn't done any of that. What the heck, man?
今さらなんだよ
It's too late for that now, man. Sure, but I couldn't help but be nervous. I wasn't any good at dealing with crowds or people I didn't know, and neither of which you've tried to rectify, which is really annoying. Like, if you know you're not... If this is something you can easily... Like, there are some things you can be like, I'm not good at, I can't fix it, I'm just going to deal with it. And then there's things like this, public speaking, where there are so many ways to prepare for, like, a public speech or an interview. Like, you're interviewing someone. The least you could do is write down 10 questions you want to ask them. Just write down 10 questions you want to ask them. And maybe, like, since some of these relate to images, print out the pictures, because you seem to love printing everything out. Print out a few related pictures, and be like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Easy stuff. Come on, man. I understand that he's really shaken up, but he should have done this before midnight last night. Or before going to sleep, at least. He can do it whenever the fuck he wants. If he wants to stay up to 5, that's fine. You're now going to have to deal with both. Like, come on. If you know you're bad at something, there's like really easy ways to prepare to handle public speaking. A lot of people are afraid of it. Which is why there's so much information on the internet. Take the hint.
よし伊藤
Okay.
部長の座を譲るお前が仕切ってくれ
You're the president now. Okay, you do it.
アホか
Yeah, he's gone to the bathroom like 20 times. That's his preparation. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Oh, you're gonna have a hard time not doing that. Ito laughed away an offer I'd made. In all seriousness, he stood up in front of his chair.
それに
From
し
his
て
chair,
も
sorry.
遅えな
Still, he's
みんな
really
待
late.
ちくたびれて
Everyone's
るじゃ
getting
ん
tired of waiting.
生
What's
徒
the
会は
council
何してん
doing?
だ
Aren't half of us represent? Watabe was supposed to be getting the VIP treatment. It was the council's job to take care of him. With Karus gone, they were probably having a hard time keeping up with all their work. From what I heard, without Karus there to keep the peace, fights and arguments were breaking out everywhere. That only went to show how much everyone relied on her.
仕方ねえ
Fine.
なちょっと呼んできてやるか
I'll go get him.
しん
Oh
ちゃん
shit, wait, I'll go shoot.
私も行くよ
Oh my god, I'd really like having Sarika around actually. She should be here. He's gonna show up while one or both of them is gone.
what?
This is a bad idea. Hey, wait. Don't leave me and Kazuki here alone. Neither of us are capable of talking to anyone. This is such a bad idea. What if Watabe came while they were gone? What do we do then? Sarika and Ito went off to the waiting room without us. This was a problem.
あれれまだ始まってないんすね
Hasn't started yet, huh?
先輩行っちゃおっす
Hey, yo, hey there. Oh, it was just Armor. Alright. Come to think of it, she asked me to ask Watabe about the picture.
ずいぶん遅いですね。
He's really late, huh?
あ
Yeah, it's knifey.
はい
Or fantasy
今
knifey.
迎えに行ってるけど
Yeah, we're going to get him. Now.
ふーん。
Oh.
あそうだ
Oh, right.
有村さん
Armor?
聞こうと
wanna
思って
ask
たん
you
ですけど
something.
なんすか？
What?
画像のことについて渡部さんを追求してほしいんですよね
You wanted me to ask Watabe about that image, right?
その画像ってラブホテルの力士シールのことでしょそれには僕たちも興味を持ってるんですけど有村さんはどこまで知ってるんですか
Good question. Thank you for finally asking a good question. A good follow-up question. This is something you should ask at the interview. Or like a question of this level. Alright, you mean the one at the sticker at the Love Hotel, right? We're interested in that too. How much do you know about it? Armor looks serious for a moment, then grinned.
情報量は高くつくぜ、あんちゃんよ。
That information's gonna cost you, mister.
お金取るんですか
You're making me pay?
当たり前よ。キャッシュで5000万、スイス銀行に振り込んでくんな。
Of course. 50 million cash deposited directly into my Swiss bank account.
小学生みたいなこと言ってないで
Stop asking
本
like
気
a
で
little
教えて
kid
く
and
だ
tell
さい
me. Yeah, hurry up. You're not gonna English.
渡部さんにはうまく質問しますから
I'll do my best to get something out of
僕らに
Watabe,
情
so
報
help
を
us out too.
ねえ先輩。
Wait, boss? It translated senpai as boss? Okay.
はい
何度も言ってますけど、私に敬語はいりませんよ。改めてくれるまでずっと言い続けますからね。
Told you, you don't need to be so self-conscious around me. I'm gonna keep saying that until you fix it.
えあ
Yeah.
はい
Yes, ma'am. She changed the subject. Ari Moreau was incredibly interested in Watabe's picture of the sumo sticker. Did you think that if I questioned him about it, she might gain valuable information? I considered this as I watched her twin tails bounce in the air. And then suddenly the curtain on the stage began to rise. I could see the bottom of the lectern and the chairs.
Eh?
What?
Eh?
What?
ねえ、始まっちゃいます
It's
よ。
starting. Where are the
伊
others?
藤先輩たちは？
There was no message from the student council, and we had no idea what to do as we watched the curtain
やっ
rise.
とかよおい
Finally.
遅えよ渡部
You're late, Watabe.
渡部さん
The girls are cheering for Watabe. As the curtains rose, the gym was filled with the cheers and boos of the students.
人尾上何してんだよ早く戻ってこいって
Ito Inoue, what the fuck are you doing? I told you this would happen. I literally said this is just gonna happen.
あれ？
Huh? Suddenly Aramura spoke.
えどうしたの
What's wrong?
見てください。
Nothing's wrong.
なんか変です。
She pointed to the stage. I looked up toward it.
Huh?
What? Watabe had come up the stairs backstage and was walking toward the podium. But he was staggering and struggling to stay up, and he looked like he was in pain. He is dead. This is our next murder. There was thick sweat on his forehead, and something that looked like drool was dripping down from his lips. By the way, this guy was like kind of thin, wasn't he? Look at his legs. Look at his legs and tell me he's supposed to be that fat. But what was even stranger was his stomach. How to describe it? The spot between his ribs and his hips, right where his stomach and intestines would be, was all swollen up. You heard the word beer belly a lot, but it was worse than that. It was like someone stuck a giant rubber ball under his shirt. The students saw this and started to whisper. Their voices grew louder and louder. This is where you call 911? This is where you ring up 911. You're like, the fuck is going on here? This guy clearly doesn't look like he's well. But anyway, or at least rush to him and be like, are you okay? Let's get you off stage. But of course, this guy's going on stage and didn't want to talk to anyone for some reason. I don't know why he's here. He should have been in the prep room. Like, guy's a fucking idiot. He's probably trying to like pull some shit. He was trying to take center stage from you, right? He was trying to steal center stage from you, but this is looking like he's a murder victim rather than actually trying to. I just don't know why the fuck he's like not going into the other room. All right, his moans grew louder as he reached the center of the stage. Just like, why is he walking towards the stage? If you're like if you're like super sick and can't even speak and look like a fucking zombie, like, let's just take a pause for a minute. If you are this ill, just be like, I'm feeling sick. Or if you're in danger, like, call 911. But he's walking onto the stage for some reason. Like, I don't get what he's doing. I'm more confused why he's walking on the stage than like the fact that he's like about to die in 5 minutes. His moans through ladders reached the center of the stage. Just listening to them was enough to make you go crazy. Kill the microphone. This mic should be axed immediately. What's that? Why is the curtain raising? Shouldn't we be aware when the curtain is raising? I assume he has someone on hand to do this, but like, how automated is this curtain raising? What's that? What the heck is that?
わからない。
I don't know. Something's off. Something's off. Yeah, you're right. This guy shouldn't be walking on stage. He should be walking off stage because he's a grown adult. Walk off stage, dipshit. The whole gym, including the three of us, started to get louder. There's no crowd in this gym. Why are there screams? Why are they screaming now? Has anything happened? Why are there screams now? I don't understand why they're screaming. I actually don't know what the scream reactions are for. Is he gonna say something just happened? The student's screams echoed in my ears. People were trampled in the mad dash for the exits, but as everyone else was panicking, Armor and I stood there in silent shock.
Oh. あれは
That's... Something was pouring out of Watabe's mouth, mixed with his blood and stomach fluids. It had a face. Of course, it wasn't Watabe's face. It was something we'd seen many times before. What was it? I knew it well, but it took me a few seconds to understand. And then... What? Sumo stickers? Armor began to scream, her voice joining the cacophony created by other screaming students. What? 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 Holy shit, what a murder. Alright. That was brutal. What are they gonna... Like, wow. I wasn't expecting someone to just die from vomiting stickers, but here we are. Alright, that was fucking brutal, guys. But I'm afraid if we want to find out what's gonna happen next, you're gonna have to catch me next time.